more perfect union, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
I love it. I love it.
And standing tall, 'cause it's all for one, and it's one for all, all.
Little mouth on him. Bing, 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 bing. All right.
Hi.
What is up, guys? It is Friday night, May 30th. Donald Trump is our president, and welcome to Same Cues, Different Views. We are your host, Parabellum and Hex 7. Are you guys ready for a packed-ass show tonight? Because we got one. This is probably going to be an all-nighter. I'm just going to tell you right now. There are
so much information that came out.
Tonight we've got some stock and financial news, a little bit on my vacation, then some stock and financial news. We've got some Bitcoin with JD Vance and his speech and the support of the White House and Trump on Bitcoin. We've got China and the violation of the tariff agreement. We've got Macron's bitch slap. Macron got freaking bitch slapped. Wow.
What a manly slap
by his manho. We got some funny Anthony Weiner news that's kind of interesting. We're going to go over.
Weiner, here we go.
And then Biden's AUTOPEN. That's probably going to be the biggest segment of the show is Biden's AUTOPEN. There has been so much come out about that, the whole AUTOPEN thing.
Man. Like blow your mind stuff coming out.
Yep. Just wait. Then we got something big is coming. If anybody follows me on Facebook, I have been pointing to this for quite a while with the 5-5 comms and all of that stuff. And Trump's post he had made, something big is coming. I do believe it's coming down the pipeline.
And if you didn't know, that's also what she said.
And then we've got the accountability phase, which all those last few things fall right into our nothing's happening segment of the show, where we just kind of poke a finger in people's face who say nothing's happening. Shit is happening. And then following from that, we've got some badass clips that's going to make you laugh your ass off. Parabellum has picked out some really good ones. Like I have had tears in my eyes laughing at some of these he has sent me. So you guys got to check these out.
Oh man. Yeah, I can't wait to see these.
So you got anything for us, Parabellum, before we start this show that you want to put out there?
Nothing real big. We can jump into stock and financial news, which isn't really too hot this week. Today we got yet again another mixed market going on. You have a lot of different stuff that's going on with the stock. That's going to be, we got tariffs, we got China violating tariff policies. There's just a whole lot of stuff that's going on in between those things. So you're going to see a whole lot of up and down. And I expect that honestly to be normal. A lot of people are freaking out, and you have a lot of liberal networks that are going to report to you that, oh gosh, this is horrible. And Donald Trump's losing $34 billion for the economy. Don't believe that crap. Everything that was lost can absolutely be gained. And I don't even think it was lost. You just have radical judges. You got China that's not wanting to play ball. Who would have thunk that crap? The market, as far as it goes for me, I think it's going to bounce back and do what it always does. And if we get all this stuff worked out, we are going to see the true Donald Trump agenda, which is going to absolutely build United States of America's economy.
Hell yeah, I agree. Okay, so before we start into this stock and financial news, most people who know me know I've been on vacation past week. Just got back, went to visit Panama Beach in Florida. Had a great time. So I was going to give a little bit of my vacation take here. I think some people have seen it on Facebook, but had a really, really, really good time. Picture on the left is
Oh man.
that's me and my family that went. It's my stepson, his wife, and 2 grandbabies. My wife beside of me, and my brother-in-law on the end there in the white shirt with the hat on. That was our picture that we took the last day of vacation before we left the beach. Center picture. So this is really cool. I had a good time that night. So I'm going to give you a little rundown of this little story of how this played out. So my brother-in-law and I decided that we were going to go down to a bar called the Salty Goat. So I went and kind of scoped it out first and then came back and was telling him about it. And as I was scoping it out, going down that direction, I went to buy my wife a gift from the gift shop down there and picked it up, was on the way back. And I met this guy who had pulled in with a SUV and whipped out this big Jesus Saves flag. And he's sitting out there waving this big flag on the side of the road as traffic's going by. And he's got, I don't know if you can see it there. Let me see if I can make that a little bigger. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's got a horn that's curled up, and he was blowing that horn like it was like he was just blaring on it.
Is it a Viking horn?
I don't know what kind of horn it is, but it was awesome because it was loud and you could hear it over top of the traffic and people honking and, giving him support. So that happened. I thought that was pretty cool. And I wanted to take a selfie with him. So I done that. Then we finally get to the bar there, the Salty Goat Saloon, and sit down at a table, and picture here on the main right is me and 2 pirates. Like these were legitimate, like full on head to toe decked out, had the swords, had the guns, the pistols, and like from head to toe decked out pirates. And I had to sit down and had quite a few beers with them and talk to them, throughout a lot of the time I was there. The lady, it's husband and wife couple, and the lady, if you can see her finger there beside my chin, she's got a little hook made on it. And she was telling me that, that's like the pirate thing, that like the symbol for, I guess, I think it's the organization they were in, because apparently she was saying they were in an organization and that's what they do is, the whole full on pirate kind of costume thing. So, she was telling me about that. And like, I sat and talked to these people, and lo and behold, these people are massive patriots, big Trump supporters.
Oh, right on.
So I thought that was cool. Well, that in itself was awesome.
Panama Beach, you're down in Florida, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Red state, baby.
So that in itself was awesome, I thought. And then I had asked them if they had heard of Q, and
I knew it. I knew it.
They were followers of Q. They knew what Q was. And like, oh my God, like I was in heaven talking to this couple. Like we just sat there and just patriotic stuff back and forth, left and right the whole evening. And she was telling me that she was at J6 when all that went down at J6, and the FBI had came and was questioning her because her husband had showed me a picture, and she was holding up an American flag there at the Capitol building or somewhere around that area. I'm not sure exactly. I can't remember exactly where it was at, but like she was getting questioned and all kinds of stuff by the FBI about that. And like all that was a really great moment. So then I get into the bar, I'm already in the bar, but then I've got some footage here of being in the bar, and I'm just going to pull that up real quick and play it. And the band we listened to was called Saucy Fuzz, I think was the name of them. They done a lot of really heavy, hard hitting 90s rock music, alternative music, grunge, stuff like that. Like they done some Alice in Chains, they done Stone Temple Pilots, but check this shit out. This is really good.
Oh, that's killer, man. Right on. Yeah. You're muted.
All right, sorry about that. So the second night we were there, after that bar, which I loved, the Salty Goat was like really my speed, because it was good classic rock, grunge music, like stuff that I grew up on. Most of the people there were like, the bulk of the people there were like, around my age, and it was good laid back atmosphere. People, just having a couple beers, listening to good music, loved it. But the second night we were there, my daughter-in-law and her husband decided to go out to Coyote Ugly, I think is what it is, and we went out there. Me and my brother-in-law went out with him to that place. So here I am decked out, and I've got my hat on and my chains and all that shit, and just we're walking in there, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I do not fit in here. Look, me and Josh look like we just.
Why was you thinking that though? Why did you think you didn't fit in, bro?
Because these were like younger people in their 20s.
Oh, okay, I got you.
All slicked up in all this garb that the younger generation wears, and here I am walking in like with the chains, and my brother-in-law is walking in, and he's got the big beard, and both of us have long hair, and he looks like he just came off the not Statler Brothers. I guess Statler Brothers are, Elvira, is that who sings that?
Oh man, if my lady Bev was here, I'd have to ask that lady.
Anyway, he looks like he stepped off their tour bus. I look like I stepped off Motley Crue's tour bus, and everybody else in there is like all normal looking, and I'm like, yeah. So we do that kind of thing. Had a guy offer me $50 for my hat in there.
Oh, dude, that's a badass hat, man.
Yeah.
You look like I don't know what it was. It's like the Motley Crue of conservative legal migration. I sent you a text. I couldn't help it, man. I know you was on vacation. You're having fun, and I was like, "Congratulations, my friend! You have successfully and legally migrated to Panama Beach. You you have made it through a Florida vacation and was not deported, my friend.
Well,
We support you, and we love you."
I am half Mexican. So anyway, like while I was there, I got just the whole time in Florida in general, I got a Bret Michaels. Oh, you look like Bret Michaels, or you look like Johnny Depp, or I got a Captain Jack a few times, stuff like that. But anyway, I got quite a few of those. But while we were at Coyote Ugly, I'd went up to get a beer. And by the way, I hate getting a beer at Coyote Ugly. Like there's like a shit ton of people dancing on top of the bar, and like you're trying to pay for a beer and get a beer and squeeze it around, and like it's aggravating. But anyway, I get my beer and I'm on my way back to where everybody's standing at that I'm with, and this dude comes up and he's like, "Dude, you look like Willie Nelson." And I'm like, "What? Have you ever fucking seen Willie Nelson?"
No way, that's Willie Nelson.
I look nothing like Willie Nelson. Like, what the hell? I get the Captain Jack, I get that kind of shit, but Willie Nelson,
it's like Captain Jack met like Cheech Marin and Motley Crue. Okay, if they had an off baby, they would call it Hex 7.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
But anyway, that was the rundown of my vacation spiel. I
thought it was a cool look, though, man, for real.
Yeah. The other thing too is like when I first walked into the bar, this dude come up and he was like, "I love your look. Don't ever change it." And I'm like, "Man, I go to weddings, funerals, whatever, dressed like this. I mean, this is what I look like." Aside from the hat, I've usually got, but
there's people that can pull off long hair and hats, and there's a lot of people that just can't.
Yep.
And I'm happy to give it to you. I think you can pull it off.
All right. Who's ready to dive down some rabbit holes tonight and see what we got here?
X7 is. No.
I am. I'm always ready. I like to grease the rabbit hole.
We kind of went into the stock.
Oh, we kind of went into the stock. All right. So let's just jump right into oh, wait. Did you have something on those two slides?
Oh, I did actually. So this was something that I found. I just thought it was ironic and pretty cool. A good example of good reporting. You have a really hard time finding good news outlets, ABC, NBC, CBS, all these news networks, Newsmax, and all this. Who's reporting truth today, right? What's going on? So today, big breaking news that went out. I'd say around 11 or 12 o'clock today, Trump tweeted and he said China has totally violated their agreement with the U.S. on tariffs. And this is, absolutely devastating news for anybody that's not following, which I'm a conservative person who follows Newsmax. Me personally, I choose not to go down a little bit too much of the rabbit holes. I do understand a few points of Q, and I just choose, to keep my legs on the ground. Hex, however, this is part of the show. He is somebody that follows conservative views, but he is someone who also goes down the rabbit hole of Q, and there is a lot of information there that may be, hey, maybe you believe that, or maybe you believe this, and that's what this show is all about. But going back, if you look, May 13th, Newsmax reported that Gordon Chain to Newsmax, beware, China is not going to do as they are promised to do in their tariff deal that they made with Trump. And then if you fast forward to May 30th today, you see that China has yet again totally violated their tariff deals with the United States. So I like to use that as a little bit of evidence of who are you following today? Who are you watching in the news? Where are you getting your information? Are they reporting true to you, or are you getting a whole bunch of garbage? To me, I'm a huge fan of Newsmax. I got to give props to those guys. They absolutely reported this 2 weeks ago, and guess what happened? Here we stand today in a whole mess of tariffs with China, and which yet again goes with a little bit with stock and financial news. Totally disrupted the stock market today, Yep. So we'll see what follows after that. Of course, there's probably going to be more tariffs going on to China from Donald Trump, and then Russia not wanting the ceasefire. They're not paying attention. There's going to be more tariffs. Donald Trump came out today and he actually said, you know what? I'm tired of it. No more being Mr. Nice Guy. So I am looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with that, because we know what happens when President Donald Trump says no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Yep.
It's about to get raw.
It's a fuck around, find out situation. That's what
Faithful, baby. You know it.
All right, so let's get into a little bit of Macron here.
Oh Lord. Wee.
Macron's husband. Macron.
It's literal wee.
So if anybody's not seen this, our good old French President Macron was bitch slapped by his first, I don't know if I should say lady.
I'm not sure about that either. There's a whole lot of people out there in the world that's been going on for at least 5 years that says that Brigitte Macron is a man. So
anyway, though, like this article, President Macron's office officially tried to claim the first lady that slapped him was a Russian plot. So,
okay,
that's originally what the story that came out from his. Well, let me read this article here.
She slapped him like a black man. I'm just telling you right now, dude. That's just. Yeah,
she looked like that face. Looks like a freaking praying mantis on his face.
You better believe it.
So this article, French President Emmanuel Macron originally claimed that the video of the country's first lady, Brigitte, is that her name? Brigitte.
Brigitte
Macron.
French baby,
Brigitte, yeah, I am Brigitte. Slapping her husband was a Russian plot, according to initial reports. At the beginning of the Elysee Palace. Wait, hold on. Where was I at? Oh yeah, at the beginning. The Elysee Palace denied the truth of the images, suggesting a video generated by AI. Yeah, suggesting a video generated by AI replayed by pro-Russian accounts before finally authenticating the sequence, which they said invoked a moment of complicity. So they were trying to say that the video was AI generated by a bunch of Russians and at first, and trying to cover it up. But then they finally came out. They finally came out and admitted it was true.
Oh, absolutely. That's insane.
So anyway, I have heard, recently I'd seen that Macron but because of this incident with his manhole,
Absolutely.
has decided to take some precautions, and this picture was recently uncovered.
Oh, that's a punter's helmet.
look, look how the AI put the mask through her hair.
Absolutely. Hey, the first thing I noticed when I saw Brigitte Macron for the first time, I'm sorry, I didn't really follow the French, news network and things going on, Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel. But when I first seen the video of Brigitte Macron and I seen that hair, I first said, okay, maybe there's a medical problem going on there. Maybe it's cancer. She's having to wear a wig. I don't know. And then I learned that Brigitte Macron most likely is a man. And if you look at what's going on with Candace Owens here recently, she's putting a big documentary out. It's on Spotify. You can follow it.
She may be Big Mike's brother from another mother.
I believe so. That is Big Mike's brother from another mother. But Candace Owens putting this huge Spotify 4-part series that's going out that goes in and it dives into her investigation of Brigitte Macron actually being a man, maybe even stealing the identification, I believe, of an uncle that was missing. There's a lot of weird stuff that's going on there. But if you don't care there, Hex 7, we'll
go for it. I know what you're queuing up. Go for it.
All right, cool deal. Tucker Carlson got on the video and he was talking about Candace Owens and this Brigitte Macron incident. And it kind of verifies that maybe Brigitte Macron is a man.
Is the Brigitte Macron, Emmanuel Macron, President of France's wife, was accused first by French journalists and then by my friend Candace Owens, who's one of the nicest people I've ever met, actually.
Yeah, she's
very
incredible.
smart.
She's incredible.
She, and everyone's always, Candace Owens a hater. Candace Owens is the opposite of a hater, but she's a very kind person. But anyway, but she comes out and she's like, I will wager my professional credibility on the claim that Macron's wife is actually a man. And I was like, oh, Candace Owens, I love you, but I think this is too crazy.
Yeah.
And then it turns out she's right.
Yeah.
What is so? Can you just explain? My mind is blown.
Well, my wife has been, by the way, the Candace Owens pieces on this are phenomenal. And so I'll be sitting there, and my wife, I'm like, what are you watching? She's like, I'm watching Candace Owens' whole deep dive on this. So let's give credit, I'm giving full credit to Candace Owens on this for really opening this story up from the French journalists who first broke it and then were, I think, like ostracized or basically told not to report it. So that, yeah, I mean, he's a groomer. So, the fact that Emmanuel Macron was a child and this man takes him under his wing and is a groomer, uses the identity of another human being. I mean, I'm definitely shortening the story in all of these ways, but I don't know the full details the way that Candace does for sure. But Brigitte Macron is a man who groomed Emmanuel Macron, and in their, the amazing thing to me is the French portrait that they have, the presidential portrait or whatever. In the background, you can see like a pedophile book that's painted in on purpose. Like you can't make this stuff up.
What?
The official French portrait painting. There's in the background. You can see basically a pedophile book that's been painted in on purpose. And other paintings that Brigitte Macron was famous for having around in the palace. All these really awful looking things that, you've got pictures of a barn here. The stuff that Brigitte likes to hang around is like pedophilia stuff on the walls. So it's incredibly crazy.
What is it with pedophilia? I mean, pedophilia is one of those things that it's like, it's so, and I can relate to almost any sin, but I just want to be clear. I'm not being holier than thou. I mean, I've done bad things. I have had, bad impulses. I can kind of understand why people get pissed and shoot each other or steal or, I don't, but I get it.
Road rage. Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
There, but for the grace of God. That's how I sometimes feel. But pedophilia? That's something that I can honestly say with a clean conscience, never even occurred to me. That's like so.
Yeah, I can say it too.
Is the Brigitte Macron?
So, what do you think about that, Hank?
Well, that was Clayton. I don't know if you ever watched, like I've posted clips of his show. Him and his wife have a show called Redacted, but that was Clayton.
Oh
from
yeah,
Redacted.
yeah, I've seen Redacted. Yeah,
I love Redacted, but yeah,
I love it. That's good stuff.
I'm right there with it. I honestly,
Pedophilia,
yeah,
weird stuff inside the home.
all
You know,
ties back into Pizzagate, all ties back into the royal family. There's a lot around that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, it goes to, without saying, I have to say this, man, is, you know, I'm prior service Army combat veteran, 11 Bravo infantry, served a full combat tour in Iraq, and I rolled with the guys that was the toughest of the toughest as far as infantry goes, you know, in the military. And I've lived a conservative life since childhood. Conservative people raised me. And is it not true that the general premises for America for so many years when it came to the French is that they're gay? They're weak, dude. Is that, I mean, no offense to French. I mean, we got allies and stuff, but have they not always been portrayed in American history as sissy boys? You know what I mean?
Very, very feminine, very feminine. Yeah.
So for a lot of people nowadays to not even give second wind to the idea that Brigitte Macron is a man and this gay stuff is going on, and this weird indoctrination stuff is going on in France of all places is mind-boggling to me. Is it not mind-boggling to you, dude?
Again, that clip, Bridget. Oh, I noticed Clayton called her Bridget too there.
He did. It's Brigitte. Yeah.
Either way, Brigitte has a wee.
Brigitte has a wee, and I'm sorry, Brigitte is some fake ass French, just like a fake ass vagina. I'm sorry, but that is a man. That's my opinion, anyway. Oh,
all right.
Lord.
If you got
any more wieners?
unless you got anything else on that, we'll move on to some Anthony Weiner news.
Let's do it.
All right, so we bear with me 1 second here. Get back to my little. All right, so we had Anthony Weiner. I don't know if this guy. I think he was a rapper. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know who this guy is that's doing this, but he called Anthony Weiner on the street. If anybody doesn't know who Anthony Weiner is, let me give you a little bit of a rundown here. Anthony Weiner was married to Huma Abedin. Huma Abedin was pretty much Hillary Clinton's right-hand man. Well, right-hand woman.
Okay.
But when
That was a real woman.
Anthony, yeah, that Huma is actually a real woman. But Anthony Weiner, well, I don't know. I think she is, as far as I know. But anyway, Anthony Weiner you never know nowadays.
You never know in these days.
But Anthony Weiner got arrested. I think it was back in 2017, 2018. I could be wrong on those dates, but somewhere around that time frame, he got arrested, and it was for pedophilia. It was I think a 15-year-old girl
Yes.
that he was sexting with online.
Absolutely. 2017, he got a 21-month prison sentence.
Yep.
And was sent to be put on the lower charge of sex offender list.
Yep. So that had happened. He's also the one, I don't know if anybody's heard about the insurance policy on his laptop. He had a folder on his laptop titled insurance policy. And when the police reviewed that, several of them had to go puke because it was so disgusting. And it supposedly involved Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin and children, is what I gather from this. So anyway, that's Anthony Weiner. He got busted. He's a pedophile. And now, sorry, now he's out. He's out of prison. And I can't remember if it's city council or mayor of New York he's running for. It may be city council if I'm not mistaken, but he's running for that office. A freaking pedophile. Known pedophile, registered pedophile, and they're letting him run for a public office in New York. So anyway, this guy is a shitbag, scumbag, scum of the earth. So
got everything that's coming to him.
Yep. So
As far as I'm concerned,
recently
papers on the window, baby.
let me pull it up here. Recently, this like, again, I don't know if this guy's a rapper. Some of you guys that's watching, guys and girls, may know who this dude is doing the little street walk down with him, but he pretty much confronts him right in public in front of everybody, and then everybody starts wailing on his ass like they just tear him a new asshole. Watch this. This is good.
Anthony Weiner in the house. How you doing, my guy? So,
Okay.
I mean,
Who are you carrying for?
I'm carrying for a candidate, but hey,
What candidate?
let's talk about all of those things you guys, you and the
Walden.
Clintons have done
Walden
over the
you
years
working
with
for?
all of those people that died,
Jim Walden
those
for?
strange deaths.
Really?
Anthony Weiner,
let's
folks,
add
the
one
guy
more
who-
to the list.
The one,
Let's
the
add
guy
one
who's
more
been
to the list.
texting
Let's
minors.
add one more to the
Look
list.
at this
Add
guy.
this guy to the list.
This is Anthony
Jim
Weiner.
Walden, this is
It's
who's
al-
working for you.
It's almost time,
Jim
folks.
Walden, this is
It's
who's
almost
working for
time,
you.
folks.
Jim Walden. Jim
It's almost
Walden.
time.
This guy right here.
Anthony Weiner, the pedophile.
What about you, pal?
Anthony
What
Weiner.
about you?
How about all of those?
Drop something?
How about all of those?
Who's it? Jim Walden.
How about all of those?
Jim Walden.
How about all of those
Look, Jim
crazy
Walden,
deaths
look who I'm
with the
working
Clinton
for you.
family
Jim
and
Walden.
those spirit cookings?
Yeah, add one more.
Yeah, how about all of that
Add one
adrenochrome? What's up with all that
Add
adrenochrome,
one
my
more,
guy?
pal.
You look like you got
You
some
wanna add one
adrenochrome
more?
on.
You want to add one more?
Hey, look at Anthony Weiner, folks. Anthony Weiner. Hey, we about to find out about those Clinton files and all that stuff.
Who are you carrying?
Love it.
Who are you afraid to say?
Let's go.
Oh, man.
Here we go. Say the words.
I absolutely love when there's good people out there that troll pedophiles. I will never get tired of that.
Yep. Awesome. I loved how, like, and I'll get to this in a second, but like he's just trying to walk his dog down the street and people just tear his ass up, which reminded me a whole lot. I don't know if you had seen
You don't need a red dot when everybody's calling you out on Facebook Live. You know what I mean?
yeah. So I don't know if you'd seen this clip with Joe Scarborough, and this was like pre-election back in 2024. This clip came out, and it's Joe Scarborough, and he's in an airport, and a MAGA supporter is just like giving him hell. Kind of same situation, but this one is hilarious.
Oh, okay.
Everybody that's seen this has laughed their ass off. And again, the Anthony Weiner thing kind of reminded me of this, and I think there was one here recently too with within the past couple of days of Hillary. I think she was out in New York or something, and like she absolutely got heckled all the way down the street, people screaming at her, calling her a pedophile, and just like annihilating her ass. But anyway,
man.
let's give this Joe Scarborough a clip here, a play.
Okay.
What do you,
Uncle Donnie to win. I can't wait. He'll get rid of all you fucking liberals. You liberals are gone when he fucking wins. You fucking blowjob liberals are done. Uncle Donnie's gonna take this election landslide, cuz. Landslide, you fucking half a blowjob. Hand landslide. Get the fuck out of here, you scumbag. Can't wait.
That's definitely a New Yorker right there.
I know, I love it. Like
Or something.
it's so raw.
Yeah, I love it, dude.
You half a blowjob. Like
Yeah.
who the hell
absolutely
thinks of
love
that
it.
shit? You half a blowjob. What the hell?
Hey, I absolutely love it, man. I'm not a saint. Me, myself, you know, hey, I've done jail time in my past. I've made wrongs. We've changed around and we're doing good things in life today. But there is one thing that I will never get more enjoyment out of because of my time in jail, and I learned the respect and the appropriation that goes towards pedophiles, is that you beat their darn brakes in every chance you get. And if the paper's on the wall, you destroy them every chance you get. And I will never get tired of anybody calling out a pedophile or a pedo for anything that they did to any young children in this world, because it's absolutely unacceptable. You know, I will laugh at it. I don't care if you're a liberal out there. I don't care if you know, your tears are hitting down to your chin. You can kiss my ass, because I will laugh at that every day, because you get everything that ever was deserved to you for those kind of crimes.
Yep, I agree totally on that. Like, well, we were talking, you know, pre-show.
Do you remember when the world was like, pedophiles are people too? Do you remember that shit? There was liberals out there that was advocating for pedophiles, and they still do to this day. Not in so much of a big form because that didn't fly with the American people. But are you kidding me? Is that the world we live in? People advocate for pedophiles? Dude,
Yeah.
get rid of the liberal party right now.
It is slowly, it's slowly coming to an end. I think the bulk of wokeism and all that liberal left wing ideology, I think it's like people are awake to this. People
They're
are
done with it, dude. I
and
think
we're
a lot
done
of
with it.
people
Yeah.
are bored with it. It
I
didn't
mean, like,
work.
you know, we seen that with Bud Light whenever they had Dylan Mulvaney come in, and
Mhm.
they were doing the whole little skit with Dylan Mulvaney, and look at the protest. All
Yeah,
the people that protested Anheuser-Busch, they were the #1 beer company in America,
Yes.
and they went from #1 down to like 10. Like
Yeah, they dropped immediately.
they had to close plants, and I hate it for the workers of the company, but you know, it got to the point that we're go woke, go broke. We're not going to put up with that shit anymore. We're done
Absolutely.
with it.
You know, when all that initially came out for me, I know it was like just being a normal guy and a regular citizen, you know, somebody who had watched Budweiser commercials growing up for 20 years. Even as a kid, you know, that's back in the days when you're 6 years old and dad was like, "Hey, watch this Budweiser commercial," you know? Like,
Yeah.
and you'd watch it and it's like, "Oh, it's great. Frogs. Yeah, they like big tits." You
Yeah.
know, whatever, dude. That was that time. That may not be this time now, but hey, okay, chill out, new generation.
Yeah.
But you know, it was an absolute slap in the face to the people of Budweiser that you promoted your product to for over 30 years. You know, to me, that's what I always felt it was. Didn't you think that's what it was, Hex?
Yeah. It was a big slap in the face, and I think that's why a lot of people gave him so much backlash on it.
Absolutely.
Because, like, you know,
Every commercial was geared towards men. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of things in this world that are strictly just for men, okay, especially in the last 25, 30 years. But Budweiser beer was about all men had left, okay? And
Yeah.
dudes, I think, finally said, that's enough, bro. That's enough. You can mess with your equality. You can mess with all these other things, and we're cool with that because we want to provide for you. We want to support, and we want to stand by you. But you start messing with our beer, you can go to hell, dude. You know, America.
Yep.
Fuck
America.
yeah.
Hey, we got some of that coming up tonight too.
That's right.
All right. So all that stuff with Joe Scarborough, or well, Anthony Weiner in the Joe Scarborough video, and me talking about Hillary having the same kind of situation. And then you had what's the actor's name? Short liberal libtard.
Oh gosh.
Meet the Falkers.
Oh, meet the fuck. Hold on. Oh crap.
Played the dad.
Oh, Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro. Yeah.
Yes.
Like you had the incident with him on the streets, and like people were
Total
heckling him.
liberal celebrity.
And
Hollywood elite.
if you look, 90% of these people get heckled left and right every time they walk down the street by the bulk of America. So all that reminded me of this Q drop. And
oh, here we go.
So in this Q3815, Q says they will not be able to walk down the street. And like he's talking about this, or they, Q team, what happens when people learn the truth? What happens when people wake up? They will not be able to walk down the street. The Great Awakening, Q. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now, because these people can't even walk down the street without getting heckled. Like we were saying, people are sick of this shit. People don't want any more of it. And we want accountability. And I'm right there with people. You know, we've got this segment coming up. Nothing is happening. And I'm right there with a lot of people. Like I do. I want accountability. And I want it bad. I want to see some of these people go to prison. And I want to see, you know, some of these people held accountable for their crimes.
Absolutely. Accountability is what we're looking for today.
But again, we'll get into that when we get to the accountability section of the show. But trust me, I'm right there with all of you guys. I want it to, but I understand that there are things that has to happen before we can have accountability.
Absolutely.
But anyway,
being number one,
that kind of reminded me of that Q drop there. And let's see here. Let's pull up the next section of the show. Oh, sorry. There's one
Oh, holy moly.
little pesky freaking meme that somehow found its way in here on the screen. I don't know what all that's about, but you know,
Make memes of libtards until they cry. Then make memes of them crying. That is a certain past joy of mine.
It
I
is.
love it when libtards cry.
I'm a shit poster. I love seeing libtards cry. I love the salty tears.
Absolutely. You know,
I
used
want to put,
Angostura bitters in my bourbon. Now I just top it off with liberal tears.
if I was a tequila drinker, I'd take the salty liberal tears and spread them around the top of my glass and shoot some tequila with them and some lime.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and jump into, I don't know, you got anything else?
No, I don't have anything as far as this point, unless what you got going on for the show for the next slide.
Oh, hold on one second. Bear with me. I may have one more little thing here. Let me check my X account here. I thought I had one more thing. Oh yeah, back. Yeah, I wanted to let me share my screen here real quick. I wanted to go over this with, it kind of goes along with Anthony Weiner and the plus getting into what we're getting ready to get into with the accountability thing and me talking about how shit's got to be fixed before we can have accountability.
How awful is it to have the name Anthony Weiner though and be a pedophile? Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, who didn't see that coming?
He's going to go down, and I think he's writing a book about it. I think it's going to be called Rise and Fall of the Weiner.
Yes, that'll be it. Yes, exactly. It'll be a one-part documentary because
people because they've been compromised by.
Oh shit! Let me restart.
Oh yeah, we're talking about General Flynn.
Yeah, so General Flynn is talking about how like a lot of these people have been compromised that are part of this criminal system, and the way they get compromised. You had Epstein Island, right?
Oh yeah.
So, you know, a lot of these people went to Epstein Island or, you know, various other places over the whole entire world and were put into situations where they slept with underage people. And then it was filmed and they were like, you know, well, all right, we got you now. You're going to play our game. You're going to play ball with us or we're going to put this shit out. So a lot of these people, I think, ended up getting stuck in this based on them having these being put in these situations and having it recorded. So this is kind of what General Flynn's getting at is like a lot of these people in the corrupt system didn't really intend to find themselves there, but they done what they done and they're there. So let's give good old our buddy General Flynn a play here.
Oh yeah, love this.
We have the House of Representatives right now is totally, completely broken, and they're totally owned by the corporate lobbyists. And frankly, by the globalists who own many of these people because they've been compromised by on their some of these what they call Codell trips overseas, where these members of both the House and the Senate get compromised by sleeping with children, and they compromise. And these are real things. These are very real things. They get them caught up in the world of big bucks, big money.
Yeah, that's some pretty interesting shit right there. I thought that would really kind of fit in, given, you know, the whole Anthony Weiner thing and what we're getting ready to get into in accountability and why it's hard to have accountability. But what's your thoughts on that, Parabellum?
Man, anything, honestly, as far as that goes, anything that General Michael Flynn says, I'm going to go with that guy, man. I'll go 100%.
I'm Flynn 100%. There's a lot of MAGA supporters and a lot of Q people out there that don't really trust Flynn, but
right. There's going to be mixed results and you're always going to get different opinions and different,
I mean, he's in the drops. You know, like Q tells us talking about Flynn, who knows where the bodies are buried and who would know where the bodies are buried. Like look at his status when he was in there and what he done. If anybody would know where the bodies are buried, it's going to be General Flynn. And I honestly think Trump is going to end up in some shape, form, or fashion. Trump is going to end up bringing General Flynn back into the fold. And
I believe so. I believe that was always the plan. And I think this is going to be a long plan to boot back around and bring him in. into a good prestigious position. I think he will end up making it back in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You got a general in the military, you know, and me, prior service Army combat veteran. I don't care if you're a general. I've met plenty of generals in my lifetime. 4-star General O'Darno. I've met lots of command sergeant majors of the Army. I've met a lot of full bird colonels, captains, lieutenants, and these people are people of character. Regardless, I don't care who you are. I've had a lot of experiences with these people in my time in the service, and they were always, their moral compass was correct. They had integrity and correct principles. I'm going to tell you that whatever this man's saying, you better follow it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. General Flynn, I want to see him back in there. I think he could do so much good. Again, who knows where the bodies are buried?
Mm-hmm.
Flynn's going to know all the dirt on all of them.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's going to come into play eventually, I believe. So let's, if you got nothing else, let's move into nothing's happening. For all you cry, baby, when nothing's happening, when. Well, we're going to give you some shit that's happening. We've gave you shit that's happening every show so far and tried to put it up there and out there for you. And if you don't believe nothing's happening, get up off your freaking ass and get out there and look up the shit that's happening.
Absolutely.
Because shit is happening. Just because you don't see it happening doesn't mean it's not happening. That's the other thing too.
Maybe some people need to widen their perspective. They're only looking at one side of the news networks, maybe on the Republican or the conservative side. But I can tell you, me as a person, I watch a lot of conservative media because that is where the truth is at. But I also want to watch some of the liberal media, NBC, CBS, ABC, to see what these people are reporting and then see what the fallout is. So open up your perspective because there is shit that's happening.
Yep. Look, I'll watch. I don't like the mainstream media, but I still watch the mainstream media because you can get a lot of information from that, whether it be, you know, their line and shit that you can put out there and say, hey, call them on their shit. But you know, I'll watch the mainstream media. Don't believe everything you see on the mainstream media. Do your homework, do your research. And by all means, we are not asking you to believe exactly how we believe on this show. This is what me and Parabellum believe, but you know, do your own homework, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. And that's what the Q drops do, is the Q drops make you dig and look and come to your own conclusion on stuff. And 90% of the time, most people will come out, whether you follow Q or don't follow Q, whether, as long as you dig and do your own homework, you'll come out to the same conclusion as every other God-loving, God-fearing, MAGA supporting American has come out to. Is that this country is corrupt and we are freaking taking it back, people. Join the revolt and wake up.
Wake up. Here we are. Absolutely. And if you're not with the Q view, that's okay. Go into the conservative news, just like Hex was saying. Find the information that feels true to you. The American people know what's real. They know what's not real. They call it out on a daily basis. You have a gut feeling. You know what it is. Research it and go with it. Okay.
Well, you know, one of the things that really gets me about a lot of people today, especially a lot of this younger generation, is they're so wrapped up in social media posts that's just mindless garbage bullshit. TikTok post that's mindless garbage bullshit. You know, they're so self-absorbed. They don't take the time to look at what's really going on in the world. They don't care. And
absolutely. That's just one hand in the pocket while the others, you know, it's taking all your money from the other. That's the 1-2 switcheroo, baby. Yep. The government's doing it to you. I do believe that.
I think that, you know, like that really ticks me off. And let's see, let me pull my screen back up here, because I seen a meme today that's like spot on. Like, and this I could get behind this meme. Let me go back. Oh, sorry, back over here. And let's close that. But anyway, I'd shared it on my X account. Right here. So look, this right here, 100% truth. I believe in this 100%. I'm behind this. Knowing the truth makes you, or not knowing the truth doesn't make you ignorant. Not wanting to know the truth is what makes you stupid.
Absolutely.
So it's your choice, people. And anybody who doesn't care enough to go out and look up politics, and look up at what's really going on in this world and do at least a little bit of homework. Get your freaking nose out of the bullshit propaganda, social media, TV, sports, all that propaganda bullshit. Get your nose out of it. I like that stuff. I look at it every now and then, but I don't focus more on that. I want to know what's going on in my world. Get your freaking nose out of that shit and look up what's going on in this world. Look at everything and see. Because again, not wanting to know the truth makes you freaking stupid.
It absolutely
Wake
does.
the fuck up.
That was something that resonated with me growing up as a child, in the conservative family that I was raised in. They bestowed those principles upon me growing up. And it literally was not knowing the truth or being willing to seek any kind of an answer rather than just being, fed what was given to you and then regurgitate it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we got with a lot of the college universities and everything going on. They're just regurgitating information that was shoved down their throat. They didn't use their brains
by the propaganda system.
They don't think about it at all. But that was given to me, and I'm very thankful for the people that raised me in the previous generation. That was something they had figured out, and that's on lock. That's on point, 100%. Not wanting to know the truth, I absolutely agree. That makes you absolutely stupid, and it goes into the perspectives of things. If you're only taking one perspective of something that you're researching, I promise you don't have the full story. It's that simple.
Watch the mainstream news, see what they have to say, then go do some homework and look that stuff up they're talking about. Take part in our country, because look, there's MAGA supporters and there's Q followers, anons alike. We're all fighting a silent war. We have been at war, people, for a long time, and this isn't a war fought with guns and bullets. This is a war fought with information, and we are all out here fighting this war with information. That's the ammunition of the war, and we're out here fighting this war, regardless if you sleep, stay awake, or sleep, or stay asleep, or sheep, whatever. We're out here fighting. We're not just fighting for us. We're fighting for you too. But please, by all means, wake up. Don't be a stupid sheep and follow the damn propaganda all the time. It's good. Like I said, I watch it. Some of that stuff. I watch some, funny reels on Facebook. I watch, different things, and I like that stuff. But I don't spend the bulk of my time watching that. I spend a lot of my time on political videos, political stuff, because I want to know what's going on in my world. Be informed.
Get invested in Congress. Get invested in bills. Understand what's going on. Take the time to read those bills. Look at the highlights of what's going on. What are Democrats trying to fight you on? What are Republicans actually trying to represent, rather than what Democrats tell you they're trying to represent?
And then look at that, how that's going to affect you in the long run. Oh, it's nice now. You got a cell phone and you can go out and get a latte and blah, 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 blah. And you can look up, oh, look at this funny video. Yeah, that's all. What's going to happen if enough people don't pay attention? What's going to happen to this country? All that shit's going to be gone. You're not going to have that anymore. You're not going to be able to go out and get a latte. There's going to be curfew. We're going to be like communist China. There's going to be curfews. We have to wake up, people. We have to pay attention to what's going on in this country.
Absolutely. I agree.
I don't mean to get on such a big rant, and I don't mean to be so harsh about it, but damn. I mean, like, seriously, come on, guys.
Well, we've been going through this for many of years, and we had transgenderism and athletes and
quit being self-absorbed.
We're all focused on LGBTQ, and this is all just, one hand feeding the bush while the other does something different. And they're doing all these things that absolutely destroyed America.
Look,
it's time to wake up.
And I have been involved in this movement probably since about 2018, something like that. I've always been, like you've heard me talk on previous shows, I've always been a little bit suspicious of something going on in this country, but I've been really heavily involved in this movement since about 2018. I spent a lot of time doing research and looking stuff up and watching shows and listening to other people's views. And it's time that gets taken away. And my wife kind of complains about it, but it's time and that gets taken away from, my family life. But I'm passionate about this. And I think that God put us, people like me and Parabellum and everybody else in this movement here for a reason. And I think that reason is to help spread truth, help wake people up. So, you know, again, it takes a lot of time out of my life and out of my day to do this. And it's like this show, perfect example. I spent probably about 5-6 hours last night putting show notes together and getting the show ready. And then I finished it up today with probably about another four hours finishing up everything and getting it ready for the show. That's time that I could have spent doing other things, but I am dedicated to this. I'm dedicated to this country and I love my country.
Absolutely.
So like Forrest Gump,
that's what you get. That's what you get, you know, with this show, you know, is you get Hex, who's so dedicated in this video and digital and technological world, and you get Parabellum, who put boots on the ground and was dedicated to that kind of a lifestyle when the military was the military. That's when we had tough guys and we didn't deal with no bullshit. Okay. And I believe that sometimes in life, you know, I don't know if you agree with this, Hex, but sometimes life gets moving too fast. And sometimes maybe it's okay to take a few steps back.
Yep.
And kind of chill it out a little bit. Okay. Reevaluate this situation and start looking at simpler approaches to things. And I think that's a lot of what the Republican Party is trying to do today. And that's their message. And I absolutely agree with them 100%.
Yep. As Forrest Gump says, that's all I got to say about that.
All
right, let's finally move on to Nothing's Happening. So for Nothing's Happening, let's see what's happening here. Look at this. We got the Biden AUTOPEN scandal.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know if anybody's seen anything about that, but you know, Joe Biden here recently. Well, I'll let you take the lead on this, Parabellum. Give us a little rundown on all this.
Well, as far as I know, a little bit of what's going on, the big, huge blow up here recently, which it hasn't been recently, to be honest. About 5 months ago, around Christmas time, Lindy Lee came out, and she's a top consultant for for Joe Biden and the Kamala Harris campaign. She did a lot of fundraising that went upwards into $20-25 million for both those campaigns, included Beyonce and all the big celebrities that showed up. She's very well connected to the community of Democrats. And I'm talking right next to the right-hand man, Joe Biden himself and the family, Joe Biden, everything. And she is absolutely blowing the top off of what happened in the Democratic Party during the days prior to and up to the election where Donald Trump won, even into the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. She has so many views and so many perspectives. First and foremost, I got to tell you, if you haven't seen the Lindy Lee episodes where she's on Dr. Phil, if you haven't seen the episodes that she has on YouTube, a 4-part series, take a little bit of time out of your day. And that research we was talking about, go and look up what Lindy Lee has to say about her time in the Democratic National Committee. Furthermore, a little more information on that is I have to let you know that Lindy Lee was part of the Democratic National Committee, and she switched over to the Republican National Committee after she had a differing point of view with the Democrats and what it was that they were doing as far as the money they were spending. And they absolutely ostracized this lady. They tried to excommunicate her. They tried to destroy her life. They tried to deport. It was absolutely ridiculous, the amount of power that they dropped on this lady, because she absolutely revealed the curtain of what was going on behind the AUTOPEN scandal. But into the AUTOPEN scandal, what was some of the big things that she had to say? Go ahead, Hex.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say I got a clip here.
Let's watch a clip.
Fox News talking about it, and then I think I've also got that Lindy Lee clip. Yeah, you're right. She was a Democrat at one time. Was in the Democratic Party. I think she was. I think, like you said, she was working for Biden administration.
Yes. Yes.
So I think I've got that clip. I've watched some of her stuff, and like it just really took me when I seen it. But this isn't that clip. I've got that one lined up coming up, I think, next. Let me see here. No, wait, I got 2 clips and then 2 or 3 clips and a slide. Then I've got that clip. But anyway, let's watch this.
A lot of information that's dropped.
So let's watch this Fox News clip here pertaining to the excuse me, the AUTOPEN.
His day-to-day.
I want you to listen to what Axios reporter Alex Thompson had to say about the inner circle controlling Biden at the end of his term. Watch this.
The people that were in charge were Mike Donilon, Steve Ricchetti, Bruce Reed, Anthony Bernal, the First Lady's chief of staff, the First Lady, and Annie Tomasini. Those were the people that saw him the most and that had the most control over what he was doing and his day-to-day.
Okay, so anyway, that was some of the people that was involved in it. I think a lot more people is going to get exposed with this. But we've got that. But that's kind of the walk-in too. But Lindy Lee drops a lot of information, including names of the inner circle of people who may or may not have used the AUTOPEN during Joe Biden's final days during his cognitive decline. Okay, so I've got this other clip here, and this was one you had sent me, Parabellum, from Benny Johnson. I don't know who done this, but they clipped it down to get to the meat of the information with the AUTOPEN. And this is a really good clip for anybody that's unfamiliar with what's going on with the AUTOPEN. Pay really close attention to this one.
Absolutely bombshell stuff on the Biden AUTOPEN scandal that is spiraling insanely out of control for the Biden administration. Finally, House GOP doing oversight. And now we have a whistleblower saying that the Biden administration was selling pardons, selling the signature of the president to get out of prison. Joe Biden signed 8,000 pardons and commutations, which of course is not possible for anybody to do if they were working with clear and sharp mind for 24 straight hours per day, 7 days a week, 12 months out of the year. You're just not, you can't do that. You can't do that and then be also the president of the United States. 8,000 pardons that Joe Biden considered and then signed? Bullshit. And we asked this question of Tim Burchett, who said this. It got us on Jesse Waters' show. Let's just play the clip.
Biden was a ghost in his own White House. Republican Congressman Tim Burchett from Tennessee says those thousands of pardons that Biden signed, those were AUTOPEN'd. And White House aides may have gotten rich.
You're going to find staffers that were able to take forms, get them, and run them through some sort of bogus legal system, and then they AUTOPEN'd them. And there's probably people out on the street that shouldn't be, but somebody got rich off that. And I think those people, I hate to say it, but you'll see something probably horrible happen to some of those people because it goes up the chain. This is a very dangerous town to play games in.
Well, that started a news cycle, Tim Burchett, saying, hey, I think that this is a normal practice in corrupt administrations to sell pardons. And James Comer went in over the top. He's head of government oversight in the House, saying, no, you don't understand. We have whistleblowers now coming forward. We've identified who worked this AUTOPEN, and they have something to say.
You are going and looking at who is controlling this AUTOPEN, because Joe Biden, I mean, he's demonstrating that he doesn't have all the cognitive capabilities they had. That interview was from 2023.
Yeah, that's hard evidence. Early in the President Biden's term as president, it clearly shows that he was in significant mental decline. It questions who was actually making the decisions. So what we found is not just with the pardons he issued, but many of the executive orders that the courts are now using to Trump-proof many of the executive orders that President Trump is trying to implement to make government more efficient. Many of these executive orders, as well as the pardons of Biden's entire family as a result of our investigation, these were all signed with the AUTOPEN. And clearly from that interview, which was many, many months prior to the heavy use of the AUTOPEN, Joe Biden wasn't capable of making decisions. He wasn't coherent. We think we've identified who the staffers are. Jason, you all have done great work with that over at Heritage Oversight. We're going to bring everyone that we believe was involved in any role in the use of the AUTOPEN. We're going to invite them to come in for a transcribed interview. If they want, then they will receive a subpoena and they will have a full-blown deposition. But we want to find out who was actually making the decisions in the White House during the last 9 months of the Biden administration when he was clearly in mental decline.
And then on top of that, we have Ed Martin. Ed Martin was the former D.C. U.S. attorney, and he's now the DOJ, heading up oversight with James Comer. So he's a DOJ lawyer, and he's in charge of government oversight and corruption. And he says that there is a whistleblower that has come forward to say, no, you don't understand. This whole Biden AutoPen thing was payola. People were paying for pardons. It's a monster spiraling scandal. Here we go.
Well, I'll make a little news for you, Mark, here. I was in the office as U.S. attorney for about 5 days when I wrote to a number of senior Biden officials in the White House saying, what did you know about Joe Biden's competence and the pardons? And I got some responses. And so I've been looking at this for a while. Again, I think that the question is more about competence. If you have someone who's not competent, they can't enter into a contract, right? And if you do enter into a contract, you've committed fraud. The question is whether you use a tool to trick people into entering into a fraud. So the Biden pardons are unprecedented. The ones right before Christmas that he did, people forget this. I think it's a couple thousand pardons that were done. Did he know about that? Did he really understand? Look, the pardon power is plenary, but the guy has to be competent to do it. Now you come forward to this question broadly of the AutoPen. AutoPen's completely obviously legal if you're competent. And there must be a trail that shows who was in charge of the AutoPen. I know this exists. Like I worked for a governor. We had a system for an AutoPen to be able to use it. And so right now we have unprecedented conduct, the pardons, unprecedented admissions, the books as well as the staffers. I had a whistleblower in my office 10 days ago, senior Democrat, saying, look, it was these 3 people that controlled access and they were making money off of it. I don't know if I believe it yet, but the point is, I think we have to get to the bottom of it for the American people and to protect the process. And that's what we're doing. And by the way, make it all the way to the bottom. It may not be criminal, but it certainly should be a scandal of the first order, maybe in human history or maybe American history. I sound like the president there, but in American history to have this kind of conduct.
And I'm from Maryland, not North Carolina, so I'm not that bright. Did I miss what the news was? You said you'd make news. What was the news you made?
The news was that nobody knows until that I was writing to these folks at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and including the Biden family. I don't think anybody has seen that. So my point is I'm bragging about being there early. Everybody got to this 120 days later.
Did they reply, or you just sent them letters?
No, they didn't.
What'd they say?
A couple of them lawyered up, and one of them wrote directly. I won't talk about what they said.
And can you and you probably won't tell us, but can you characterize who the whistleblower was? It someone who worked in the Biden White House?
Biden campaign, 2020 campaign at the highest levels.
2020, and who are the 3 people they said were doing it for money?
This is the one who's let me say it carefully. Yeah. The gatekeepers. Different characterization of who was using the access, but the gatekeepers were Klain and Anita Dunn and Bob Bauer, and those 3 were really dominant characters in the White House. Ricchetti a little bit, and obviously Jill, but I think that was the 3. I was with this person, and I said, "What about Susan Rice? What about some of these others?" And they said, "No, these were the ones."
Okay, I will politely and gently tell you his name is pronounced Ricchetti.
Oh, okay.
Soft. Just so you know.
Just so I know. Okay, I'll make sure if I meet him, I'll get it right.
Okay, he's a very nice guy. I think you'd like him if you met him.
All right, just adding to the whole thing. Finally, we have an interview with Tim Burchett done in his office during a live stream yesterday, where we asked about this again, because it was actually Tim Burchett on our show that started the entire news cycle. And lo and behold, we get new information. Again, not only the confirmation of the whistleblower, but also what's going to happen next. This, ladies and gentlemen, story is not going away. Get ready.
That's why I always tell people I'm not suicidal.
You made a lot of news on our show saying that you believe that there could have been some real payola with some of these Biden
Have
pardons.
to be 8,000 pardons. I said 2,000, and it's come out. Somebody said something
8,000.
8,000 freaking pardons. You think Joe couldn't remember what he'd had for breakfast? He couldn't remember where the dadgum bathroom was, and he reviewed 8,000 files on pardons. Give me a freaking break. This is so shady, and it's just Washington, D.C. It happens every day. That's the thing. It happens all the time. But with Trump in there, we're focusing on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And every department is suspect. And, you just can't get past it.
Oh, man.
Congressman Tim Burchett. Oh, like he is on fire with that shit. 8,000 pardons. A man who, like he said, couldn't remember what he had for breakfast.
Yeah,
Went through
8,000 pardons.
went through 8,000 pardons. Like Burchett said, it's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
They covered for this guy the whole entire time when he was in office.
Absolutely. And to go over those names again, what you have is the three people that were in the inner circle that were connected to Joe Biden. And these were pretty much majoritarily no-name people, okay? They shouldn't have any kind of power like this. But because of Joe Biden's cognitive decline, Anita Dunn, Bob Bauer, and Ron Klain. And then there was Bruschetta in there as well.
Yeah.
They're saying that these people were the people that were running Joe Biden's AutoPen, and not only they were auctioning off pardons to the highest bidder. You wonder how much money they made?
Treason. It's treason.
It's absolute treason. If this gets investigated and proven true, people should be hung by the neck until dead.
Okay,
this is treason.
I agree on it. It is treason. I've got something up on that. Before we get to that, I've got this video of what's her name? What the crap?
Oh, Lindy Lee.
Yeah, Lindy Lee. I've got this video.
Yeah.
Of
Oh,
Lindy
yeah.
Lee.
Yeah,
I thought about playing this out of sync with what I've had for the show format because
Okay.
I think like it's a good time to play it now. But I did have another slide that I wanted to go through before that previously. Actually, let me get through this real quick. This other slide that I have here because this is some Q stuff. Again, it's same Qs, different views. So
absolutely,
I'm gonna. Well, let me remove that from the stage.
Dave's putting a light, or sorry, Hex is putting a light on the rabbit hole. Look inside.
Where the crap is that? There we go. Remove. Now let's add my. There we go. Anybody who's followed me on Facebook, again, like I made this post, it's on the upper left corner of the screen. It's a post I'd made May 27th, and it said something big may be about to drop. Real AF Patriot had an interesting take on X with Q1802 based off of Trump's timestamp 602 on his post. So if you don't know what I'm getting at there, 1802, 602, I'm sure you do, Parabellum, because you were in the military.
Absolutely.
That's a 6:02 p.m. So that would be 1802, right?
Yeah, 1802 is 602. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what he was getting at. So you convert it to military time, 1802. So given the AutoPen news and the rigged 2020 election, along with Biden's cancer, which that came out recently too, Biden's cancer.
Oh,
there's
absolutely.
a whole lot I wanted to go into with that tonight, but I don't know if we're going to be able to cram it in. Among many other things going on right now, we could possibly see something big drop soon. So what Real AF Patriot that I follow over on X was getting at was Trump made this post, and it's on the bottom left of the screen, right underneath the big eyeballs that you see there. And the post reads, other than the rigged presidential election of 2020, the biggest scandal in American history is the AutoPen. Whoever used it was usurping.
Yep.
Yeah.
Usurping.
Which means pretty much forcing and taking power.
Absolutely. Using. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Abusing it. So anyway, usurping the power of the presidency. And it should be very easy to find out who that person or persons is. So Trump made this post at 6:02 p.m. And that's on the bottom. I've got it of his post. I've got a little rectangle around the timestamp on it. So if you go up to Q 1802, something big is about to drop. Q. So that was pretty cool. Which I think I've made it bigger there on the center of the screen. The same drop, 1802, so you can see it better for anybody that's really wanting to read it. Again, if you guys want these Q drops, you can go to qag.news, qagg.news, and you can look up these drops for yourself. You can search. It's got a whole lot of search features. You can search by deltas, which is like the date that the drop was made to the date a year later, 2 years later, 3, 4, and so on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And then you're welcome. And you can also type in key phrases and search the drops that way. But that's where I get a lot of mine at. But anyway, this whole thing with the AUTOPEN, and like I've been hitting at on Facebook, is something big's about to happen. And I think like me and you were talking earlier before the show started about this, something big, and you were saying that a lot of people you follow and love the hat. Wow. By the way, I got a nice new shirt here. I don't know if anybody.
What do you got going on? We the people.
Yeah, we the people.
I love it. I love it.
Trump with a middle finger up. I bought that down in Panama. But anyway, you were saying before we started the show, pre-show tonight, you were talking about this. The same thing I was talking about, whether you follow Q or don't follow Q. Most people have the feeling right now that something big is about to come out.
Yeah, something big is going to happen. What you believe in, whether it be Q and you're on those episode drops and those are the things that you believe in, or if you're just watching conservative view media and you see what's going on, in the world, something big has got to happen here soon. So the way that I see it, that I've ever seen in my life, is that when a lot of things are happening, whether it be in a relationship or a friendship or a coworker relationship or something with your boss, it always builds up to something big, and then it's got to blow up entirely, and then everything goes back to normal. I don't know if you agree with that, Hex, but I think that is exactly where we're at in politics today. I think we are about at the point, the precipice, the climax, whatever you may want to call it, where it's got to go. It's got to go, and something's got to happen so we can get back to normality.
Yep. I agree. Absolutely agree. 117%. But I do have this, like you had sent this to me, and I actually managed to clip it so we could use it for the show tonight because I thought it was really interesting.
Cool.
With what's her? I can never remember her name.
Lindy Lee.
Lindy Lee. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
Chong Lee.
Chong Lee. Lindy Lee.
Yeah.
I don't know about racist, but she's part of the Republican Party now, so she's not taking it as racist. So,
so do you want to set this clip up for us, or do you just want to roll right into it?
Well, I don't think I have the clip on my end.
I know I've got the clip. I'm saying, do you want to give us a little rundown on this clip before we watch it? I've got it. I can bring it right up on the screen.
Go ahead and pull it up on the screen so I can see what it is, and then I'll know where I'm at.
It's the one that you had sent me.
Who did you?
That one.
Oh, okay. Okay. So this is one of the 4-part episodes that came out on YouTube that Lindy Lee was interviewed. She's been interviewed by multiple different sources since she came out in the last 5 to 6 months. But as far as I know, she is explaining the Democratic Party and the environment in which she operated in while she was neck and neck, shoulder to shoulder with some of, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, even Barack Obama in some instances. She's explaining exactly how the Democratic National Committee operated, some of the money that she spent, that was spent in poor ways. Just Lindy Lee, honestly, the best thing that I can tell you is watch this video, and it will blow your mind as far as the information that can come out from somebody who used to work so closely with the Democratic Party and is now Republican and is blowing the lid off of what happened in that environment prior to the election and past the election, even into the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. Yep. Take it for what you want to see it, man. This is some great information.
Yep, she's great, guys. I've listened to her once or twice. I've started to really get more into a lot of what she says. So let's give this a play.
Absolutely.
You learn that has the most power behind closed doors that everybody fears, that no one knows about? Who had the most power?
There were three of them. Steve Ricchetti, other than Jill Biden, that was a given, right? Jill Biden, the wife, she has tremendous power.
Really?
Yeah, she was a president
Jill Biden's
essentially for the
on
past
it.
4 years.
She's been
Without a
implicated.
doubt. Without a doubt. I'm actually convinced that if it weren't for Jill, Biden would have not run for re-election. Jill and Hunter what were the two people who kept him in the race because he was worried about his son's freedom, his only remaining son. And Jill didn't want to relinquish power. She was Lady McBiden, as they say. But the three people who had the most power, other than Jill, who's the obvious person, Steve Ricchetti, Mike Donnellan, and Anita Dunn, the senior advisors. I was most close with Anita, who's actually very nice to me.
And what gives them the kind of power they say they have? Like, what could they do?
They could do anything.
What's anything?
Run the world.
So you're telling me Anita Dunn, this is Anita Dunn, which
Yes.
you're saying she was nice to you.
Yes.
And who were the other two you said?
Steve Ricchetti and Mike Donnellan.
Rob, can you pull them up? Steve
Ricchetti and Mike Donnellan.
Did you say
Ricchetti.
Ricchetti?
R-I-C-H. It's Italian.
Ricchetti?
Yeah.
Political last served as counselor to
Then
the
you got
President Biden,
Anita
who was
Dunn.
also chairman of Joe Biden 2020. Ricchetti previously served as chief of staff to Biden during the Obama administration, deputy chief of operations under
Fine.
Clinton.
Ricchetti sounds like pasta.
In between stints in
Absolutely.
Democratic administration, Ricchetti worked as a lobbyist. And who was the last one you said?
Mike Donnellan. And what's significant about Donnellan is that he was the one feeding Biden the fake poll numbers, saying that he could still beat Trump after the debate.
Him right here.
Him right there. And you know what these people have in common? Well, less so with Anita.
knew they
Anita
were
is kind
fake.
of an Obama veteran. Donnellan and Ricchetti, the reason why they reached that pinnacle of power is because they're longtime friends with Biden. They're not super smart geniuses or anything like that. Their major credential is decades-long loyalty. In 1988, when Biden had to drop out because of plagiarism, Donnellan was with him. So they go way back before I was even alive.
Got it. So are they? Two of them are loyalists to Biden. One of them, Anita's a loyalist to Obama.
But also loyal. But she comes from Obama world, but she's also a loyalist to Biden. She is known, she prides herself on holding Biden's grudges. That's what she says. Yeah. So Biden, he's mellowed out in his years. But Anita, she's a fighter. She was the person who came up with Dark Brandon. Remember that meme?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So grudges, who were some of the people that Anita protected the grudges from? Like if you're saying he was about grudges, who were some of the grudges with? It has to be with the party, with certain people within the
Exactly.
party.
Like people who dare to undermine Biden. Like, for example, Joe Manchin, who wouldn't pass this legislation. Kamala Harris, they hated her.
Pre her running?
Oh,
while she was VP?
absolutely. They were
out.
do you remember in the first couple years of the term, her office was constantly undergoing turmoil?
Right.
It was just, there was so much drama. People were leaving in droves. There was so much turnover. Anita Dunn and crew, they didn't think highly of Harris. She couldn't run her own office. And Ron Klain, who was the chief of staff at the time, he was replaced by Jeff Zients. He had to come in, exert control over the situation.
So far, Manchin, Kamala. By the way, did Biden and Jill choose Kamala as the VP?
Jill hates Kamala Harris.
Always.
Hates her.
Recently or always?
Viciously.
Why?
Always, because of the debate on, if I remember correctly, it was June 28th, 2019.
I remember
when
that.
the bus thing.
I remember that.
Exactly.
Can you pull that up, Rob, if you're talking about the bus thing? Yeah.
And the bus thing, I was with Biden the next day in San Francisco at a fundraiser, and he was shook. No one expected that to happen. And Jill was one of the people who opposed Biden picking Kamala for VP. But he kind of tied himself in knots when he promised to pick a black woman. He left himself with a few options,
So was Kamala chosen as the VP because Biden had to choose it based on what Trump said, based on what Obama said, or he wanted her because she was polling well, and let me choose her as a VP instead of other guys that
If
you
by
couldn't
polling
burn?
well, you mean 1%. Then,
Well, at one point she got up to 17. I think at one point she was at 14%.
and then
the-
dropped 1% and
Dude,
never recovered.
so
She didn't
then
even
why
make it
w-
to Iowa.
So then why would you choose her as a VP?
2 words. James Clyburn, who saved his ass in South Carolina. So many things can be attributed to this guy. Because if it weren't for James Clyburn, we never would have had the Biden presidency.
Why is that?
Because he came in 5th in New Hampshire and lost Iowa terribly.
I remember that.
And the only reason why he won South Carolina in such dramatic fashion was because James Clyburn, who's so widely loved in the state, endorsed him.
So if James Clyburn doesn't endorse him, he doesn't win South Carolina,
He's done.
who would have been a replacement?
They were scared it would have been Sanders. Do you remember that? All the moderates
For sure.
coalesced
Amy,
together.
Sanders,
Amy Klobuchar,
Pete, Warren.
Exactly. Actually, Warren was, she's progressive. But all the moderates got together and endorsed Biden that night. I think it was in a joint rally in Houston or somewhere in Texas. And so Clyburn saved him. And with that came tremendous power. He got him to promise that the VP would be a black woman, that this next SCOTUS pick would be a black woman.
So so he's that powerful? Clyburn is that powerful?
He's very powerful.
So,
you know who got him to, this is a very important part that I don't want to forget. Biden endorsed Harris 30 minutes after he dropped out. Do you remember?
I do.
On July 21st. You know who told him to do that?
Who's that?
Oh, James Clyburn.
But why does he owe the favor to him? Just because of him helping him out in South Carolina?
Without James, there's no presidency. He would have been dead in the water. Do you remember? Everyone wrote him off for dead after New Hampshire. It was that bad. He was losing to Pete Buttigieg.
So is James Clyburn a person that's close to, is he part of Obama's camp or he stands alone on his own?
He's very much part of Biden's camp.
So he's not an Obama guy.
He is. They're all there's so much overlap, but he's very much a Biden loyalist.
The reason why so we got the three names. Rob, if you can go back to all the three names, Anita being one of them, okay? You had Anita as one. Then we had Stephen Ricchetti. Then you had Michael Donnellan. When you say they could do anything, what were some of the things that they did that people feared? Because the question was, are they feared?
My point is, they were essentially the president behind the scenes, and Biden was just the facade.
And that's why Mike would give the wrong polls just to make Joe think that he can win. He has a shot to keep running. So that
Mike could continue in power. All of these people knew that this is a final gravy train, that they would never be hired by another. Can you imagine another Democratic candidate hiring these people? It just wouldn't happen. They are Biden creatures through and through. They realized that this was their last act.
Wow. So what do they do now, though? What do they do now to make money? Are they lobbyists?
I'm sure they're rich enough that they don't have to work again.
Due to what? Because the job doesn't pay that well.
Due to what? These are the same people who came up with Burisma and the fact that Biden pardoned his family on the last day, not just for the past year, but all the way back to 2014. These people, everyone that I just named, they're all part of Biden world. They're all the entire Biden world operation is influence peddling. I'm sure they're fine. James Biden was wrapped up in this failed hospital network business. They have businesses in Ukraine, China, all over the place. They're going to be fine.
Well, something funny is the FBI agent that I was talking to at DOJ when they were dealing with the property that we bought, she was also suing Joe Biden's brother.
For the hospital thing?
Yeah, linked to it. Very weird. I'm like, wait, what? I'm looking her up. I'm like, she's suing? Who was this lady? Finally, we had many calls, and then eventually, when the property was finally on auction, we were able to find a way to pick up the property.
Hey, guys.
All right. That was really interesting.
There's a whole lot of information in that.
Yeah, there was a lot of information and I chimed in there at one point, was saying that there's some Q stuff in this, and this well, do you want to give your take, Parabellum, before I get into my take?
That's okay. Either way you want to go. As far as me, I think Lindy Lee dropped a whole lot of information that came from her direct experience with inside that party. And you're talking about Jim Clyburn of North Carolina. And we're going back to campaigning for Joe Biden at this point.
She was right there in with all of them.
She was fundraising money for these people. This goes into the Kamala Harris territory, fundraising money for Beyonce and Christina Aguilera and all them people showing up, you know, that big whole event that went down.
It's kind of like what I was saying with General Flynn, like who knows where the bodies are buried. I mean, she's probably another one who knows where a lot of the bodies are buried, which meaning figuratively speaking, all the dirt.
Like we always said, follow the money. So who's raising the money? And I don't think people really understand what it is that they have yet. They're getting better. When Lindy Lee, a previous DNC top campaign fundraiser that worked shoulder to shoulder with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, flipped to the Republican National Party after 5 months. It was so severe on this lady that she had total mental health problems. She had things that happened to her. They tried to excommunicate her. They tried to destroy her life. They tried to cancel her. They threw every big gun they had at her. And 5 months later, here she is, and her story's finally getting out. I really hope that the American people look at this story and see if there's any weight into it, investigate it, find out, see what's going on. But you do have firsthand perspective on this. And I really would ask you to take a moment to look at this information.
Yeah, definitely. Well, me personally, like with this, I'm a Q guy. I got a lot of Q stuff out of it. And this goes back to during 2024 when Biden was still in office and we were coming up on the presidential debate. June 27th, we seen the debate with Trump and Biden. That debate went south.
Horrendous.
It was awful. Biden got killed. Like he couldn't put a sentence together. He was so incoherent.
It almost hurts your heart how horrible the defeat was.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't support Biden, you was like, my gosh, nobody deserves this bad of a defeat. But Trump did it in a classy manner. I mean,
he did, but still at the same time, it was kind of like Andre the Giant beating up on a second grader.
Exactly. Oh Lord.
It was awful. But anyway, following that, we seen Biden's mental health decline even more after that. And with that debate, I think like you had that book came out that Jake Tapper had recently, popped up about Biden's mental decline. They knew it all the time. They were covering it up. But we seen more and more of that come out after that. It's like the mainstream media was instructed to, all right, let's show a little bit more of, Biden's mental decline. Like after the debate, Biden went back, to his little area there where Jill was at. Jill was patting him on the back. Oh, you did it, Joe. You did it, Joe.
I think she was indoctrinating him all the way through.
Treating him like a little kid.
Honestly.
So they were covering it up. I think Jake Tapper's book has came out, and I'm not a Jake Tapper fan.
No.
Fuck Jake Tapper. And I think he just actually probably helped incriminate them with the book that he came out with, because they were covering this shit up. So we seen more of Biden's mental decline there. And
that was the big thing that went, is that, like you were saying, Jake Tapper came out and then Lindy Lee started getting hot.
Yeah.
Right after the Jake Tapper release. So then you see this conflicting information and people are like, the normal American people like me and you and anybody that may be watching this, they're going, wait a minute, dude, we're not stupid.
Yep. So you had that debate there, June 27th, 2024. So coming up on that debate, I remember telling, I was telling my wife and a couple other people, based off of a certain Q drop that, this was even before the debate. I'm like, they're going to have a switch up, and they're like, at that time, I wasn't sure if they were if it was going to be Harris they were going to put in, or if it was going to be Michelle Obama or Hillary Clinton. Like that was my that was my three picks I had at the time. It was going to be one of those three. They're going to switch.
They were looking at Pete Buttigieg, a lot of other people besides Kamala Harris. Yep. That's the thing that Linda Lee said. Yeah.
So July 21st, she said in this video, July 21st, Biden endorsed Harris, and she also says they realized this was their last act. Absolutely. So with all of that, like I was getting at with that Q drop, like back then I was really big on this one particular Q drop, and I was telling everybody we're going to have a change of batter. We're going to have a change of batter. It's either going to be Harris, it's going to be Hillary or it's going to be Michelle Obama. They're going to try to switch Biden out with one of those three people. And lo and behold, it rolls around that they switch Biden out with Harris. So that Q drop, or that reminded me of Q drop 4014. And 4014 was made back in 2020. That's when Trump was running against Biden. So Trump wasn't running against Hillary at that time. He was running against Biden. But one of the key things I wanted to pull up, and let me pull this drop up on the screen here. And let's try to focus in on what I've got highlighted there. If you guys can see it, if you can't see it, I'll read it to you. But what I've got highlighted and red there, and this is Q4014 made back in 2020. This was the one I was really digging at back, right before they switched up and put Harris in. And it says, why was she saved from officially announcing? Why was she reserved for last minute change? How do you attempt to sneak one in? How do you attempt to ensure victory? And that's what we seen back in 2024 when they switched Biden out with Harris. I kept saying it was going to happen, and then boom, it happened. And I was going off this Q drop plus a couple other Q drops that was telling me that they're gonna have a change of batter.
Yeah. Well, I seen from my perspective, and even what Lindy Lee, she even announced this within her perspective, was that you can't be the DEI party and not nominate a black woman for president. Yeah. So they were pretty much crippled. They had other people that they wanted to pick, according to Lindy Lee.
Even though Jill hated Harris,
she knew she had to pick her.
Yeah.
Because they had spent so hard on the DEI party, and they were, doing this far left liberal progressive deal of, all this LGBTQ plus and DEI. They got every letter of the alphabet. You had to pick a black female president. You were screwed from the get-go. Unfortunately, Kamala Harris was horrible on TV. She failed every time she got on the tube.
Yep. She did. She was awful.
She was awful. Laughing.
Again, one of the things Lindy Lee says there in that video clip is they realized this was their last act, and
they did.
The whole thing with Harris. Jill hated Harris, but they realized, and this goes back. I've said this a couple times. A criminal robs a bank. The criminal is not just going to give up and throw his hands in the air.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to fight until the end. They realized this was their last act. They have to fight some way. They have to throw somebody in there.
Yeah. Well, when do you think, let me ask you an honest question. When do you think that the Democratic Party knew it was their last act?
I think they knew it was their last act whenever Trump got elected the first time. Like, they started realizing, oh shit. Because, Trump used to rub elbows with a lot of these people. Mm-hmm. Trump knew some shit on them. And then on top of that, like I put a lot of that on the Q movement and all this intel, this military intel operation of Q. Trump was informed. He was asked to run for the presidency back in 2017. And, he ended up taking it on. And I think Trump was informed and brought into the fold on this Q operation. Hell, it may have been sooner, prior to that Trump was brought in. But, I think whenever Trump got in office in 2017, I think that's when they realized that this is our last fight. We're going to lose power. We're going to lose our whole entire corrupt criminal syndicate system. And we have got to do everything we can to stop this man. Because look at what they threw at this man.
Oh, they threw everything. Well, I'm going to agree with you to an extent, but disagree in a different perspective, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. I agree that they had an inkling of knowing that, okay, we have a real fight on our hand, maybe when Donald Trump got elected in 2017. I don't think they truly knew it was over, Hex, until the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. That very moment, even Lindy Lee brought it up. She said at that very moment, what was DNC donors saying? What were they saying? What was everybody in America saying? I can tell you what I was saying at the kitchen table, having a Jaeger bomb with Granny and Pap and my lady. Okay. I can tell you that when that happened, my initial perspective was it's over. He's an icon. Trump will be our next president. You just screwed the pooch. That would be my perspective on when it would totally. That's when they figured out this is our last ride.
You could be probably really right. Like, you know, like
Well, I think they're just so arrogant in 2017. They thought they could beat them.
Okay. So, like, you know, like one of the things I was basing my 2017 assumption off of too was when Trump was standing there and the big press conference when he was getting ready to take office, and he said, what was it? He was talking about the storm. Shit, I'm having a brain fart. But he said, what was it? He's like, you know what this represents, and he's pointing to all the generals and stuff around him.
Okay.
And the press is like, what, Mr. President? And he says, this is the calm before the storm.
Calm before the storm. Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, the storm is a big thing.
And the big, huge ordeal. Yeah.
The storm is plays a big, that whole phrase plays a big thing in the Q drops, which, you know, like we talked about on last week's show, I was talking about how we're all of us Anons are looking for Q drop number 55, which says, my fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. And we don't know if it's going to be from Trump or somebody else on Q team that posted, but, you know, like, I think maybe you could possibly be right on what you're talking about. Because maybe coming into 2017, maybe they were just scared in 2017.
Well, I don't think they got scared, honestly. Like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the road.
But I think
auto pinning.
You could be right. I think the real big fear came into play possibly when Trump, you know, the assassination attempt went south.
Fight. The guy became an icon overnight, and they said, even Lindy Lee, she said it in her video. She said, at that moment, DNC donors called me, Lindy Lee. They called her and they said, it's over. We're done. No more money. The guy's an icon. You cannot compete with that.
Yep.
It's over. And I believe that 100%, because me as a common American, just having a job or taking care of children, you know, whatever it may be, my initial thought was, because I lived in a household where there were Democrats and Republicans in that household, and we all drank together, right?
Yep.
So we had a lot of very particular conversations, okay? And we did it better than I think anybody else could ever do it, especially involving alcohol. At that moment, I jumped up and threw my hands in the air and said, Donald Trump is an icon. You cannot defeat him at this point. He rose his arms and said, fight, fight, fight. That man will be our next president. And all of the Democratic people in the House had nothing to say.
Okay.
Because they knew it was over. You know what I mean?
So my moment with that, when that assassination attempt happened in Butler, PA that day that he was giving the speech, I was actually taking a shower and I had my phone up on the top of the shower and I was like watching the speech and, you know, washing my hair and taking a shower and listening to it. And then all of a sudden that happened. And I'm in the shower and I'm screaming and I'm like, no, like I'm like freaking out.
Dude.
Like I was freaked out. Now, like
That
you can
was
ask my
huge.
wife, like I was almost in tears. So, you know, that happened. But whenever I finally seen him get up from the stage and he raised that fist in the air and he said, fight, 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 my immediate thoughts went back to the Q drop that had Donald Trump in it with his fist in the air on that Q drop. And it said, fight, fight, fight.
Yes.
And I was like,
to go with that, I absolutely appreciate what Lindy Lee said in her video, another video that she has. You guys check it out on Facebook, YouTube. Check out these videos. I promise you. She even talked about the stark contrast of the campaign at that time, Joe Biden against Donald Trump in the election for 2020, or at that time, or Kamala Harris against Donald. So you had Donald Trump raising his arms going, fight, fight, fight. And you had Joe Biden, who endorsed Kamala Harris, falling upstairs. The contrast was so stark that Democrats knew it was over. And at that point, their gloves came off and they started doing some of the shadiest things that you've ever seen. I truly believe that's when the AUTOPEN started coming out.
Yeah.
Jill Biden, her top advisors. There was also other information that came out about the AUTOPEN. Somebody else has also been accused of using the AUTOPEN. And this came recently in the New York Post. Trump's AI, David Sachs, He came out and he did a podcast with somebody, and he claimed that Senator Elizabeth Warren was the one that had full control of the auto pen. So we do have multiple different approaches of who used the auto pen at this point in the investigation. But for me, I don't know about you, Hex. At this point, an investigation is warranted by the Republican Party.
Yes. Yeah.
And we need to look at this because there's a lot of people that are using this pen for the wrong reasons. Did you see the video, Hex, where there were multiple Joe Biden signatures?
The signatures, yeah, and they all lined up perfectly.
All matched perfectly.
Yeah. I wanted to clip that tonight. I just didn't know if I'd have time to fit it in. But
yeah, it's okay.
If you've got it, pull it up, share your screen, pull it up. We'll look at it. But yeah,
I don't have it at the moment, but I'll try and pull that up here in a second.
It was all, look, guys, this was all Joe Biden's signatures, and they were signed perfectly, exactly the same. Like, I don't sign my signature
on top of each other. Perfect.
Yeah, perfectly overlap.
Nobody does that.
Yeah, I don't sign my signature the same every time. I'm sure anybody else out there doesn't sign their signature the same every time.
No way, no how.
And 8,000 times? Who could sign their signature exactly the same 8,000 times? Tell me.
There's no way.
If there's anybody out there, I challenge you to send me or Parabellum
8,000 signatures of your name.
Yep, 8,000 different signatures, and let us put them in our software and overlap them and see if they match up. I challenge anybody that can do 8,000 signatures and have it exactly the same every single time.
Absolutely. I'll put my left nut. They don't.
These pardons are all bullshit. They're null and void. They don't mean shit. All these pardons.
That's what I was wanting to get into. So that's the Republican view that's going on today, is that this auto pen scandal that's going on with Donald Trump even came out and said it's probably the biggest scandal since Watergate, like, that's happened in American politics. So you've got to understand their point of view is that if this is true, are they null and void? And who was running that auto pen? And for the life of me,
who was running the country?
Who was running the country? For the life of me, ladies and gentlemen, if you had a bank account, okay, anybody that has a bank account, let's put it that way. Do you want an auto pen out there for your signature to write off those checks? Let's just get simple with it. Nobody in America wants that. You know why? Because there's room for error. There's room for deceit. There's room for problems to happen out of that. So whoever thought in the Democratic Party, I'm sure it was a great idea to have an auto pen for cognitively declined Joe Biden.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, the use of the auto pen is not meant for stuff like that. It's meant for, like, the president's on a like an ambassador kind of thing, or
absolutely, they're on a trip.
He needs to sign for a receipt for we bought
he has to get proof.
30 rows of toilet paper. Like, we bought 30 rows of toilet paper for the White House, or we bought we had to buy a car because our one of our vehicles had broke down for the Secret Service or something like that. That's kind of like, and we need your signature. That's kind of what I think the auto pen was meant for, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you're correct.
It wasn't meant for stuff like this.
Absolutely not.
It's being used for corruption.
Absolutely. Me being a previous criminal in a previous lifestyle and actually being an honest citizen today for 10 years, I can tell you human nature is very simple. If you give me an out to commit a crime, somebody's going to commit a crime. So you look into James Comey's investigation on this auto pen. Some of the information that came out about that is mind-boggling to me. I don't know if you've seen it, Hex, but some of the things that you talk about is that some of those signatures that are on file came out with the auto pen at the same time that Joe Biden was golfing for weeks on a vacation. So did they ask permission? Did that happen? Did they go through the appropriate channels? I don't think so. And coming from a previous service prior service Army combat veteran, I know the consequences when you don't use the appropriate channels through the chain of command to conduct any kind of activity. It is harsh. You will lose rank. You will lose pay. You'll be on extra duty. There are negative consequences that follow you the rest of your life if you do not do that. So you're telling me, you know what I mean? Like these people that happened. I have to shrug my shoulders to that and say, I don't know that happened. You know?
Yeah. I do not believe that Biden signed 8,000 pardons.
There's no way. That's why I have so much respect for Donald Trump as well. You see this man always signing something, and he makes sure to know that the American public knows he is the one signing these bills.
I will tell you this: if Joe Biden signed 8,000 pardons, then 1 second here.
Unicorns are real.
Well, not a unicorn, but how about a unidrill?
Oh, a unidrill! Oh my lord! Oh my gosh!
Or some kind of it's some kind of transsexual unicorn drill. I don't have no idea. But if Joe Biden signed them pardons, then that thing right there that we're looking at,
it made 2 perfect holes.
Yeah.
You tell me how that happened.
If Joe Biden signed 8,000 pardons,
I promise you they will have some sort of educated, legitimate, peer-reviewed, fact-checked response of how that would work.
Yeah.
But if you look in the Republican Party, of common sense, they're going to tell you that's bullshit.
Exactly.
You know? I'm telling you.
But yeah, it's bullshit. What Biden, you know, what they say, you know, that Biden with the pardons and stuff like that, I just don't believe any of it. It's all like Burchett said, it's bullshit. He didn't do that.
It's absolutely bullshit, dude. They've got so deep.
I've got this. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, something big's coming. Here we go.
Yeah, something big coming.
Bing, little mouth on him. Bing, 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 bing.
So, this slide here I've got made is if again, you know, if you've been following me on Facebook, I've been posting a lot of relaying a lot of the comms with Dan Scavino and Dan Scavino Jr. But Dan Scavino Jr. had posted a video over on X, and he posted it at 8:04 a.m. and that's right there on the left side of your screen, and highlighted in red on the bottom left side of the screen is the timestamp, 8:04 p.m. or 8:04 a.m. I'm sorry. He had posted that, and that video was 17 seconds. Center slide on the screen is me circling the 17 seconds, and right out from that, the big circle is, I've kind of blew it up and you can see the 17 seconds. So that was pretty interesting. So what I wanted to do was, let me see if I got this. I may not even have the next slide pulled up. I've been sitting here shooting the shit and running the show. So it's a lot to keep up with. Bear with me 1 second here. Okay. Yeah, I do have the next slide pulled up. So let's take a look at Q drop 8:04. So Scavino made this post at 8:04. So within this Q drop 8:04, it says Delta 6 confirmed, comms good, operational Q. So let's I'd posted this on Facebook. So let me give you this little Facebook read here that I'd posted. Comms good, 5-5, loud and clear. Something big is coming. I posted, and again, this is a post I'd made a couple days ago, and I was referring to the previous day, but I posted yesterday that something big may be coming based off of Trump's post about the AUTOPEN. We have been going over 5-5 comms on the show the past several weeks. So let's look at this in order. So let's break this down and look at it in order. Number one, we had a heads up to watch for 5-5 comms over the last several weeks from Dan Scavino. And again, I've been tracking that, watching it, posting them when I can find them, when I see them pop up. And then number 2, Jake Tapper. We talked about this, me and Parabellum here just a little bit ago in the show. Jake Tapper wrote a book about Biden's mental health decline while he was in office. And where am I at here? Oh yeah, there we go. While he was in office, and he was on MSM, mainstream media, promoting it. Notably, the one I seen him on that morning was CBS News. He was on there promoting his book about Biden's mental decline. They all knew it was. They all knew he wasn't fit for office and was trying to cover it up. So, I mean, that's obvious. Based off what we were talking about with the debate, you could clearly tell that James Tapper and the rest of them, all the mainstream news was trying to cover up Biden's mental decline. So anyway, number 3. The AUTOPEN news drops, and we find out that the AUTOPEN was used by others besides Biden to sign pardons illegally. Keyword illegally, because Trump was about to take office. You had who was it? Fauci got pardoned. Hunter Biden got pardoned. Like there was a crap ton of them got pardoned when Trump was about to come in office. Why do rats abandon ship? Because the ship's about to sink. So, we had that, the AUTOPEN news that came out. So number 4, now it looks like Jill, Pelosi, and many others may be involved in the illegal use of the AUTOPEN. That's came out, like, me and Parabellum again earlier in the show, we were talking about Jill being involved in this for the use of the AUTOPEN.
Absolutely. I think she's to blame on a lot of this. That's what's going around in today's news.
Yeah.
Elder abuse.
Elder abuse, 100%. Today, Dan Scavino, and this is me getting into what I just showed you there on, let me back up a slide here. Yeah, there it is. So today, Dan Scavino posted a 17-second video at 8:04 a.m. on X showing 6 images of golden retrievers in this video. And I think I've got the video, and I'll play that in just a second, but there are 6 images of his golden retriever in this video. So now let's look at Q804 again. So let me pull Q804 back up here. And here's Q804. And let's look at this really close and kind of break it down a little bit with Dan Scavino's post. So Delta 6 confirmed, comms good, operational is what the drop said. So now let's break it down. First part says Delta 6 confirmed. Notice 6 is in brackets in this, which is, it's kind of like highlighting 6. There were 6 dogs in that video. Like I said, there were 6 images of that dog in that video. So, there's your 6. And again, you have to look at this as comms, and this 6, I don't know if it was really meant for Anons or for Q team that, we're going to, this is go time. Operation is ready to go to bring this shit down. So anyway, there's your 6. The next part of it says comms good. And my take on it was Anons heard Q operation comms loud and clear 5x5 over the past several weeks. And I'm sure Q team has heard or seen the comms over the past few weeks, knowing that the operation was getting ready to go. And this may be confirmation with this video that, the operation's a go, something big's getting ready to happen. So the last part that I had put was, Q was talking about, Q says operational at the last part of that drop. Something big about the drop. Is this going to be the Moab? It's really pointing to, based off of, all these 5.5 comms we've had, all of these other things I've posted about this, and we've talked about on the show about this. And Trump's post going to Q drop. Let's see, what was that? Well, I don't have it on the screen anymore. But Trump's post that was going to the Q drop talking about some. Yeah, it was Trump's post on the AUTOPEN, and the time stamp was 6:02. We had that earlier in the show we just talked about, which 6:02 p.m. converts to 18:02. So Q drop 18:02 says something big is coming. So I think we may be about to see something big coming. That's my take on all that.
I believe so. I believe something big has to happen at this point. It's built up.
Yep.
You know, you got Russia not listening. You got China that is not listening on the tariff deal that they made yet again, which is a trait of China. You've got a lot of things going on where people are making deals, they're not keeping their word. And at this point, this is when America really, truly stands up. And I think some big stuff does happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I believe it is. So we've also got this. This was really interesting. I came across this the other day coming back from vacation. Trump had made a post on Truth Social, and you can see there in the slide I've got up on the left side of it. He says he had posted this meme, and it says he's on a mission from God, and nothing can stop what's coming. The timestamp on that post, like this is how I connected this, is the timestamp on that post is 10:32 p.m. So you go up and convert that to military time, it'd be 22:32 p.m. So you go up to Q 22:32, and and Anon had posted on the board, things are moving fast. And Q replies, faster than you know. Something big is coming. And then on top of that, you've got the nothing can stop what's coming, which kind of ties into faster than you know. Nothing can stop what's coming, and it's going to be faster than you know. But the really cool thing about this was another hat tip to Anons who follow Q. If you zoom in on Trump's post, it's on the right side of your screen there, close to Trump's head in the graphic. And look at that. I've zoomed in on the image, and in the background of that image, what do you see there, Parabellum? Hello?
Sorry about that, buddy. I got some stuff going on with the kiddos.
Oh, okay. I thought I lost you.
No, you're okay. I'm right here. I'm listening, but I got some stuff going on with the children real quick. I'll be right back in just a few moments. Sorry about that.
All right. So anyway, guys, what you see there on the right side of the screen and that meme that Trump had posted on his Truth Social account, you can see that I've highlighted a little red section there and then zoomed in and put it out from his coattails, and you see a Pepe frog. What is the mascot of Q? A Pepe frog. It's kind of become a symbol of the Q movement. So that was pretty cool. And I really liked that. Nothing to do with what we were talking about with nothing's happening. I just wanted to throw this in there. But again, also with that, I also want to throw one more little thing in there, and let me share my screen real quick. Bear with me one second here. Let's see. Let's remove that from stage, and let me add my screen. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to add in with this is we get a lot of hat tips and nods as Anons from Trump, from Scavino, from General Flynn, and multiple other people. But we had talked about this. I think it was last show we had talked about, maybe last show in the previous show, we had talked about Trump, with the Q board and Q plus. There was a couple posts on there from Q plus and Trump being Q plus. So I wanted to touch on this real quick to let everybody know that it's all been confirmed, pretty much well confirmed, that Trump is Q plus, because one of the people I follow, actually two of the people I follow, one Rev DQ, who had right here, as you can see, who had posted this post. I follow him. He's really good with the drops and stuff, but he was talking about this person right here, Spiritual Street Fighter 17, and she makes a lot of Q related content. Her account is full blown Q. She makes a lot of Q related content, memes and stuff like that. And she has been reposted 38 times by Donald Trump's official account. 38 times she's been reposted. So
that's pretty cool. That's pretty badass.
It is. Like, Donald Trump has posted, this is just 38 of probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Q accounts that Donald Trump over the years since 2017 has reposted. And for someone who says that they are not part of the Q, well, again, it goes back to plausible deniability because the mainstream media calls it QAnon, and there is no QAnon. There's Q and there's anons.
Right.
So it's plausible deniability. When they ask him about it, yeah, when they ask Trump about QAnon, Trump can say, "Yeah, I don't have no fucking idea what QAnon is," and he's right because there is no QAnon.
Right.
So he's
I get that.
He's
I
supposed
find similar views within Q and non-Q. I do find a lot of similar views. So
that's like the title of our show, right?
Absolutely right. That's how it all comes together.
So anyway, Trump has posted many Q accounts heavily over the years, but this is just a video that Rev DQ put together of this one particular account, Spiritual Street Fight. She's got some really awesome looking memes, really inspirational memes, but he put this video together and I kind of wanted to play it on the show tonight to give you a little bit of sense about how closely Trump is tied to Q. So let's pull this.
Before that, I do want to ask you, if you don't care, before you hit the play button, I do want to tell you that I know, is there a part later in our show where we're talking about the court striking down Donald Trump's tariffs?
No, but if you want
to share a screen, I've got a couple things for you. There's a little bit of breaking news that came out around about 12 hours ago. So we're going to go into that. There was some big stuff that happened about a trade court that came out and blocked a lot of Donald Trump's tariffs. They put it on a 10-day hold. All of his economic plan went up into shambles from some rogue judges yet again. But there is some breaking news. But before that, let's watch the video that Hex has for some Q.
Okay, so after the video, I've got 2 slides and a video left before we get into the badass clips. So we'll throw that, what you're getting at, right in between those. Does that work?
Awesome.
All right, let's give this video a play here.
Spiritual Street Fight. I do okay. Yeah.
All right. So that was 30. Sorry. That was 38, 38 memes that Trump had shared from Spiritual Street Fighter 17. And again, like, she makes some really beautiful, awesome looking memes.
I love it.
I love it too. All right. Just wanted to kind of toss that out there with everything. Let me get back to some. Oh, I got to load up some more clips. Holy crap. I've been behind.
You got a couple more. Okay. In between, we're going to do a little bit of that
Yep.
court striking down those tariffs, man. That was some big, scary deals going on.
It is. I seen somebody had made a meme. I wanted to snatch it today and use it, but I'd forgot about it. And they said, I think it was like a Lord of the Rings menu or Lord of the Rings kind of thing where you know, I think it was episode or the second movie, and they had the hobbits, and they're saying it looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Somebody had made one that said, "Look like tariffs are back on the menu, boys."
They could have used meats back on the menu as well, you know.
Well, yeah, that would have probably worked too. Let me see where we're at here.
Stop Bill Gates from buying up all the cattle. Trump's coming in. Meat's back on the menu, boys.
So we've got let's see that one. And while I pull this one up here, let me remove that from stage. And let me pop this one up. This was one you had sent me. And
absolutely, yes.
If you want to give that a little talk while I pull up these other last few slides I've got here.
Let me see if I've got. Okay, so court strikes down most of Trump's tariffs, ruling them illegal. Okay, so let's see. This went down May 29th. All right, it happened yesterday. The federal court on Wednesday froze most of the sweeping tariffs imposed by President Trump on virtually every foreign nation, ruling the levies exceed the president's legal authority. All right. So basically, they said, you know, he can't do these tariffs in a trade court that virtually nobody ever hears of. Okay, according to Newsmax, 90% of cases from this trade court, you never hear about it from the American public, but yet here we are. Okay, in the small 10%, a trade federal court has ruled that Trump's sweeping tax cut bill, it includes provisions to. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got it backwards. I apologize, I got it backwards. I was actually talking about them stopping the tariffs. Sorry, I'm still on the tariffs. Sorry, my bad. But the sweeping tax cut bill, let me get into that.
Yeah, we got tariffs coming up next.
Sorry, that was my bad. I got into
that's all right. That's all right.
That's my fault. Had a few drinks tonight. Apologize. No, the sweeping tax cut bill includes provisions to weaken court powers. Basically, what this comes down to, Hex, is that there is in the big beautiful bill that Donald Trump is passing. We're trying to pass in the Senate right now. It basically says that you cannot put an injunction against any kind of bill that's being passed in Congress unless you pay a bond. Okay, so what does this mean? So like a lot of bills that Republicans are trying to pass, they always face Democratic opposition and they try to stop them, right? With such nonsense and garbage and legal jargon that it should never even be stopped. There's no way that it should ever even be stopped. So what's included in this is that if you're going to try and approach this in the future in the big beautiful bill, if it should pass, is that if you're one of these people that's filing an injunction against this bill, then you are required to pay an extremely large bond to be able to pay for the legal benefits if you're incorrect about the bill. So if you're putting out negative information or anything that's wrong, you will have to pay back any kind of legal fees or anything that's going on. It's going to come down from your deposit for that bond, as far as that I take it. So what the whole purpose of this is in the big beautiful bill is
sounds like it's part of breaking the system down.
Absolutely. It's trying to break down the system. You got a lot of rogue judges that's going on right now. They're stopping everything that they can when it comes to the Donald Trump agenda and all the policies that are going on and the bills that we're trying to pass in the Republican-controlled Senate and the House. So this is their one move to be able to try and stop anything that can happen when you shoot the moon with the presidency, the House, and the Senate. Okay? So that's the best that I got as far as that information goes for this. Do you have anything on that, Hex? What do you think about this?
Yep, I actually do. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah.
Why is it? I don't know why it's not. You're the star of the show, dude, for some reason.
Oh, I got you. Wow. Oh, yeah, you switched me over to, and let's do that.
That'll work. I was trying to do a single view, like, but.
Oh, I got you. Oh, I don't know why I'm doing that. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I do have something on this. Like, you were talking about the rogue judges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This goes back to my accountability phase that we were talking about. And plus this also ties into, like our nothing's happening section of the show where we got all these freaking whiners out there going, nothing's happening. Yeah, that kind of shit. So I had made this post on Facebook the other day, and I kind of wanted to run through it real quick. I posted this in the background, the puzzle picture, and you've got within that Putin, AUTOPEN, pipe bomber, like all this stuff's being investigated right now, and it's all like, I've got it all on these little puzzle pieces. Well, I didn't make the graphic; somebody else made the graphic, but I thought it was really fitting. So anyway, what I'm getting at in this is, so I'd posted this. Is the puzzle coming together yet? Are you connecting the dots? It's all one enormous criminal system that works together to protect each other. Trump said in 2017, and like, we'd talked about this. I think it was pre-show we'd talked about this, but Trump said in 2017, that the swamp runs deep, and a lot of people didn't understand that. So if you want accountability, you have to understand that the swamp runs deep and it has to be drained first. Like Q said, it had to be this way. There is still a lot of bad actors embedded into the system. These people must be taken out in order for true accountability to happen. Otherwise, the corrupt system will just protect itself and block true justice, which, like you were talking about with the judges, these corrupt judges, Supreme Court judges, federal judges, all that stuff, all these, the whole system is designed to protect itself, this whole corrupt system. So these people have to be taken out of office, out of play, before we can actually have true accountability. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't really understand, because we've seen this lately. Every time Trump, does an executive order or, does something that, like the deportation and stuff like that, what do we see? We see Supreme Court justice or federal judges, ruling against it. So these people have to be taken out of place. And Dan Bongino put this out on X and said the following.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this is for you people who say that nothing's happening. Well, Dan Bongino put this out on X, and this is straight out of the Q drops too, mind you. The director, and he's referring to Kash Patel, the director, and Dan Bongino's deputy director of the FBI. So he said the director and I will have most of our incoming reform teams in place by next week. The hiring process can take a little bit of time, but we are approaching the finish line. This will help us both in doubling down on reform and agenda. And with that said, people, the FBI is being restructured. Why is the FBI being restructured? Because they're trying to put trust back into the American people, we the people, with the FBI. Because let's face it, the FBI has been corrupt for a long time. They have covered so much shit up. Look at the Hunter Biden laptop. Look at the Epstein shit, among thousands of other things. They have covered up. They've not really followed up on investigations. They hide shit. So the FBI is being restructured. again, this goes back to what I was saying.
Everything's being restructured.
Previously in the drops, we have to get these people out of the system. If we don't get these people out of the system, we can't have a true accountability. So, we can't have true accountability unless the system's clean. We have one shot at this. This is it. You know, like we have worked and worked and worked from, well, some people can say 2017 up to present date we've worked, but I think this whole entire operation has been going on since the assassination of JFK. But we have worked and worked and worked to get our ass up to this point. And throughout that time, like I said, I joined this movement heavily in about 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. I really started getting deep and digging into it. And I have seen this community grow so much. The Q community, the MAGA community. Look at perfect example. Look at the 2020 election, how many votes Trump had, and then versus look at, you know, the 2024 election. More people have awakened to the truth and what's going on in this country. So we can't have true accountability unless we clean the system. And
Absolutely.
I've said this. I've said this multiple times. Again, we've got one shot at this. Do you want it right now, or do you want it right? You can't have fucking both. You've got to have true, by the book law accountability for these people. And the American people has to be behind it. So all you people out there fucking whining that nothing's happening, listen, do you want it right, or do you want it right now? Because if you want it right, it's going to take time. This system has to be cleaned out. If the system's not cleaned out, it's designed, I've said it just a minute ago, it's designed to protect itself. We have to clean the system out before we can have accountability. And that's what Trump is doing right now. Bear with him. Quit whining. Quit bitching. It's coming. Just wait. Have patience. And it may take, you know, we got 4 years of Trump. Trump's only been in office for like, what, 100 and some days?
100 days.
Yeah. And he's done a lot within that amount of time for it, you know.
Nobody expected this much.
Yeah, nobody expected this much, and we've got this much in this amount of time. Just wait. Be patient, people. Quit fucking whining.
Yep. Give it a year. Give it 2 years. He's got 4.
It's coming. So that said, I've also got a little video on that I wanted to pull up here. Give me a second. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Let's watch this. Again, like I've played this guy's videos. I'm not sure who the guy is that makes these. I've not really dug into it, but he makes some really good videos, and I've played several of his videos on the show, and I've posted them on my Facebook account. But listen to what this guy has to say about, you know, what's happening right now. So let's watch.
What's happening is the largest RICO case in history. Everything's being done by the book, including the Law of War Manual. Corrupt people in the United States aren't the only targets. The cabal's network is worldwide. Right now we're in the exposure phase. Everything has to be shown to the people, and patriots need to clean house. Things aren't going to happen overnight. We have to go through the process. That way when the dominoes start falling, they won't have a way out. No technicalities, no loopholes, and no one to pay off. Trump has had 9 years to figure out who the patriots are, and who he wanted on his team. Those are the people he put into position. Just because you can't see what's happening in the background, doesn't mean nothing is happening.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. So RICO case. RICO, Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization Act. That's what he was referring to in that video. And that is kind of like individuals involved in engaging in a big pattern of racketeering, influence peddling. Like you know, we seen that with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and the Burisma bullshit, like stuff like that. This is the largest RICO case in history that we're watching. We are watching the biggest sting operation to ever go down in American history. But I'm not going to go much deeper into that. That's about all we got for that. The next thing's coming up is the badass clips. But I think before that, Parabellum you've got something you wanted to bring up on the tariffs. So by all means, share your screen. And
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
While you're doing that, I'll load up our badass clips.
Give me a second here. Let's see. Okay, so initially, we're going to talk about what happened yesterday. Is that come up? Was that okay, Hex? Did that come up on the screen?
Oh wait, let me remove what I have from the stage here.
Yep, I got to add it to the stage.
Yep, let me I think I have to remove, or wait, if you can remove mine. Which one do I have on there?
1 second.
Sorry, removed you.
Oh, my bad.
There we go. Now you're clear. Stage
there
clear.
We go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool deal. So initially what was reported yesterday, which was big news that came out, was that a federal trade court came out and they absolutely devastated Donald Trump's entire total tariff agenda. All of the tariffs that you've seen when he put up that big poster that showed, 125% on China, and so much so all the way down through all those countries. A federal trade court that nobody ever heard of, and 90% of cases you'll never hear come from this court ever in your lifetime. They decided to come out and strike down most of Trump's tariffs, and they called them illegal. And what actually ended up happening is it put a 10-day pause on Trump's tariffs that he had set for China, Russia, and all the other countries, Turkey, everybody. So what was the fallout of this? People want to blame Trump. They want to say, oh, you've lost 34 billion and this, that, and another of what's going on with the economy, and your trade tariff war has been absolutely devastating to our economy. It's not correct. What I'd like to tell you is the truth to the people is that Donald Trump is not the problem of what is the if there's any losses to the economy. What the problem is these rogue judges that are shutting down Trump's agenda. Okay. All the way through. So let's go into this a little bit. Court strikes down most of Trump's tariffs, ruling them illegal. A federal court on Wednesday froze most of the sweeping tariffs imposed by President Trump on virtually every foreign nation, ruling the levies exceeded the president's legal authority. Okay, so the ruling issued by a panel of judges on the U.S. Court of International Trade halted the sweeping 10% tariffs Mr. Trump or President Trump assessed on virtually every U.S. trading partner on Liberation Day.
Again, hence why the system needs to be cleaned out.
Absolutely. Well, with higher tariffs threatened for dozens of countries, the court also blocked a separate set of tariffs imposed on China, Mexico, and Canada by the Trump administration, which has cited drug trafficking and illegal immigration. That's its reasoning for the hikes. So a little bit further into that. So how fast does Donald Trump move? Okay. Give me a second. Let me share a different screen to you. How fast does President Donald Trump move? Okay.
Oh, look, there I am.
More than
Sorry.
Yep. There you are. Hello. Oh, it switched again.
Yeah, I was trying to put you up there.
At the stage. Here we go. So no more than 15 hours ago. Okay, updated 10 hours ago. You can see it on the screen right now. So the initial report was the trade court came in. They said, you can't do anything, Mr. President. And no more than 10 hours ago, Trump tariffs remain in effect after the appeal that President Trump put out. The court grants a stay on that. So what does that mean? All of Donald Trump's tariffs that he had in place are now back in place that quick. Okay, as far as 10 hours ago, less than a day. The trade court ruled Trump exceeded authority under Emergency Powers Act. What happened? Appeals court. He put it into the appeals. The court ordered plaintiffs to respond by June 5th and the administration of President Trump by June 9th. Uncertainty over tariffs impact trade talks and market reactions. So as far as I can tell you, to me, this is breaking news. Oh, 1 second. Let's put us back up there. For me, this is breaking news. This is absolutely insane of how fast your President Donald Trump, works and his administration. You had a bar none, unknown federal trade court, a rogue judge that stopped all of the tariffs that enacted President Trump's tariffs. And within 15 to 20 hours, you have an immediate ceasefire on that says appeal. You know, oh, uh-oh, where we at?
Trump and his tariffs.
Oh, Trump and the tariffs. Okay, here we go.
We might have made a mistake leaving the Shire,
It's a little longer clip than I had anticipated.
What is this, Peg? It's the trees. What? You remember the old forest on the borders of Buckland? Folk used to say there was...
Oh.
3 stinking days.
There we go.
Why can't we have some meats?
That's what I was getting at.
Oh, you did the great tariffs. I got you. Yeah.
They're fresh.
They are not for eating.
What about their legs? They don't need those. Ooh, they look tasty.
Get back, scum! The prisoners go to Solomon, alive and unspoiled.
Alive? Why alive? Do they give good sport?
They have something, an elvish weapon. The master wants it for the wall.
They think we have the ring. Shh! As soon as they find out we don't, we're dead. Just a mouthful. A bit off the flank.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
So anyway, I wanted to throw that in there. Sorry for the extended version of it. I was looking for a little bit shorter, but that was all I could find. I was doing it on the fly.
Yeah, I don't know, but as far as I know, man, what's amazing about that is that you had a federal trade court that came out and they blocked every bit of Trump's agenda. It was an absolute nightmare. And within 20 hours, you had an appeal that was pushed through from President Trump's administration, and you had a stay on it till June 5th and June 9th for the administration. That's insane, dude. So all of President Donald Trump's appeals, his tariffs, they go through. So that kind of goes into what I'm talking about. People are talking about market instability. They're talking about, oh gosh, the market's going up, it's going down. Oh, it's awful. He's costing us money. But yet you have all these rogue judges that are interfering in the middle of this man's plan. And nobody wants to look at that. Nobody wants to look at that and say, maybe if we didn't interfere and let him try to work out his plan, maybe we'd have better numbers. So
we got Bev finally popping up in chat there. I just seen.
Uh-oh, here she goes.
Yeah, she's in the chat.
She's in the zone, brother. Here we go.
Bev is going to be our moderator in chat here coming up, depending on how, if we can get the damn chat to grow. If anybody would ever join chat, everybody watches the show, but hardly anybody jumps in chat.
We need comments.
We got to get more people in chat. I want to pause for a moment before we get into this next little segment and remind everybody, go down there at the bottom of your screen if you're watching on Facebook, go down there and hit that like button. Let us know you're watching in the chat. Comment on in the chat on Facebook and let us know you're watching. Comment in the YouTube channel. hit that thumbs up right down there at the bottom of the screen.
Like and subscribe, baby. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Comment
If you go
on
down
our show.
If you go down on the YouTube channel, right out from my name, if you're on the web browser, right out from my name, there's a thumb, a share, a clip, and a save. Hit that thumbs up. If you're on your mobile phone, usually it's like right underneath my name, if I'm not mistaken. Hit that thumbs up. Jump in the chat. Give us some feedback.
Absolutely, we're open to feedback. Any kind of open.
If there's any
debate you may
content.
have.
Yeah, any open debate, we'll debate with you on here. If there's any content that you want to see on the show, topics that you want discussed, let us know on Facebook
dive
and
into the research. We will find it
on Facebook and on YouTube. Share the show, but by all means, please go hit that thumbs up button and give us a little bit of support. Oh, we've got some more watching now. Cool.
Right on.
So anyway, again, guys, go hit that thumbs up.
She said, Bev said music.
Okay, we could do. Well, I've got a closing song.
Musically oriented.
I've got a closing song.
You want to do some badass clips?
Yeah, let's do some. Okay, guys, let's get into some badass clips of the show here.
Let's do some badass clips, and then we'll hit the closing.
All right, so we got some badass clips lined up. Again, like I said at the start of the show, at the top of it, Parabellum picked these clips out. They're his picks, and he has made me laugh my ass off when he sent me to watch them. Like, some of these are absolutely hilarious. So, what do you say we do a little America? Fuck yeah,
America, fuck yeah.
All right.
Fuck yeah. Throw me that fish and I'll catch it with my talons. Fuck yeah. America.
Random humor, people. Enjoy it. Good Lord.
So we got that one. I love that one. America. Fuck yeah. Throw me that fish and I'll catch it with my talons. This is one I made this one earlier today.
Wow, he's amazing.
As I was putting the show together, like, I got this idea to make this one. I think this is the one. Let me see. Yeah, this is the one. So I made this earlier today as I was putting the show together, because like the whole Macron thing and him getting bitch slapped by his manho.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if anybody's seen this little skit, but I kind of like put their faces on each of them. So let's check this shit out.
What did the five fingers say to the face? What? Slap!
Oh shit. What the five
I'm
fingers say to the face?
I'm surprised that wig didn't fly off his head.
That was a cool clip. And I was thinking about that when I'd had that on my mind to make that as soon as when I was in Panama and I seen that clip of Macron there.
Oh my gosh. The first clip of Macron. Go ahead.
Oh, I was like, I got to make this.
The first clip of Macron that I ever seen, and I wasn't quite familiar with Brigitte Macron or Emmanuel, the French president, but the first clip I ever seen, I shit you not, Brigitte Macron was walking and she was like doing a little, or he was doing like a little dance, and that hair stayed while the rest of the body moved. And my immediate thought was, what the fuck? That's a man.
The walk. There was another one I'd seen of that too, of him walking or he, she, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Like, there was another one I seen of the walk.
Could be hermaphrodite.
Oh, Bev in chat says music ? So yeah, we'll get into some music. Before we close, I mean, like, if you got something particular you want to hear, Bev, let us know. I'll share a screen, pull it up.
You want a song? We're gonna play a song for you. Yeah. What do you want?
Well, let's finish these badass clips and then we'll get into some
Yeah,
of that.
let's do that.
All right, so we've got what the fuck is? Give me a second here. Oh, let's get into this. This was hilarious. You'd sent this to me and I added it. So motherfucker.
Got to thinking,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
MAHA, Make America Healthy Again.
Exactly. Let me start it over. There we go.
I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again.
Exactly, because they
MAGA, Make America Great Again.
Yeah, whatever.
But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again.
Exactly,
Motherfucker.
Motherfucker. Yeah, follow all these motherfuckers. Wait.
That sounded better in my head.
I love that, man. That's just everyday people, natural people putting up funny humor. I love off the wall humor like that. You don't see it coming. It's just
So-
pure. It's good.
Should I play the original Comey and then the parody, or should I play the parody first and then the original Comey?
Well, let's do the original, then the parody.
Okay.
Let's show them.
All right, guys. So this is Comey, the seashell motherfucker that was 8647. So let's watch the original clip, and he's on Stephen Colbert.
You stirred up a little controversy recently. I was going to say you landed in some hot water, but it's not hot water. It's just water because I don't know if you do this on purpose just to get attention here, but is this Instagram?
Instagram,
You
yes.
grammed this. You were walking down the beach. What happened? You were walking down the beach, and you saw this on the beach?
Yeah, my wife and I, Patrice, were walking on the beach and saw those numbers in shells on the beach. And
You didn't do this. Somebody else did this.
Yeah, somebody else did it. We were on a walk preparing for this week, the rollout of my book.
Yep.
She looked at it and said, "Why'd someone put their address in the sand?"
All right.
And then we stood at it trying to figure.
Wait, I got to pause there. Why did someone put their address in the sand? Bull fucking shit. That's what I call on that. So anyway, let's continue.
Looked at it, trying to figure out what it was, and she'd long been a server in restaurants. And she said, "You know what I think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's a reference to restaurants when you would 86 something in a restaurant."
Right,
And I
it's off
said-
the menu.
Yeah. I said, "No, I remember when I was a kid, you'd say 86 to get out of a place. This place stinks. Let's 86 it."
I was a bartender. You would 86 a customer if they were getting.
So confirmation right there. He knew what 86 was.
Drunk, like that's 86. Like give them a low proof alcohol, something like that. Yeah.
And so I said, I think it's a clever political message. And she said, "You should take a picture of it." I said, "Sure." And then she said, "You should Instagram that." And boom.
Well.
So anyway, what's your thoughts on what he had to say there? Like, to me, 90% of it was bullshit.
I'd have to agree. Absolute bullshit.
He knew what 86 was. What it represented.
Absolutely. There's no way you can't know what 86 nicks it, get rid of it, means. I don't care if you went to jail or if you was some kid in 6th grade,
Well-
you know what 86 means.
Well, then he come back later, like a little bit, like a couple seconds after that, and confirmed that he knew what it was because he was like, 86 this place, and like he knew what it meant.
Absolutely.
And 47, I mean, like, come on. He done that intentionally.
Look, 2 + 2 = 8647. Okay, everybody knows.
All right, so let's watch this this parody clip of that. Somebody, who put this together? Do you know, Parabellum?
I do not. I haven't seen the video.
Okay, well, this is the one you sent me, but
Let me get this straight.
Oh, I
You
did.
were
Hold
walking on the beach.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, let me go ahead and play it. We'll see where we're at. I have some commentary for you.
Okay.
So let me get this straight. You were walking on the beach with your boyfriend, and you found this big cucumber sticking out of the sand.
That's correct.
Okay, but how did it end up halfway up your ass? I mean, did you pick it up and stick it up your ass, or did your boyfriend help with that? Like, how did it happen?
It's a funny story, actually. We were walking down the beach, and all of a sudden my boyfriend says, "Look, there seems to be a giant cucumber sticking out of the sand." So I just went over to check it out, and I was wearing flip-flops, so I tripped, and I literally landed right on top of it with my ass, Steve. So I told my boyfriend, should we go back home and try put some baby oil on it? And my boyfriend was like, that sounds like fun, honey. And I said, nah, man, it's stuck up my ass. This is serious.
So he wanted to rub some baby oil on it and push it further or something, kind of like a Diddy party.
Yeah, he got excited and shit. So anyway, we just went back home, we put some baby oil on it, and finally got it out. And to be honest, it still hurts a little bit, but not as much as the day Trump shit canned me. That one really hurt. I'm still butthurt from it. That's why I posted the seashells thingy on Instagram.
Holy shit.
Answer your question. Okay, I know where you're at now. No, I sent that to you one morning, and it was a random Facebook feed, some video. I don't know who made it or whatever, but it absolutely had to be shared with the world because I knew it was related to 8647, and it was absolutely made my coffee morning fantastic.
I could see why. Oh, I like when I pulled that up, I laughed my ass off at it. And then I've watched it probably maybe 8-10 times since then, getting ready for the show.
You love it, man.
Every time I watch it, I laugh my ass off at it. And
yeah,
this time,
I just cucumber up my ass.
Yeah.
It's so vicious.
It made me shit.
Oh man, I'll try and find some more. We'll send it to you.
Yeah,
I'll find some very horrible humor.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh, I think this is the last badass funny clip we got, and then I've got a little thank you I want to post out there after this. But this is the dog shit. You know what this one is, right?
Yes. Oh,
right.
This is great.
So let's get into this one.
Trump walks out on the street and says, "My goodness, look at that dog shit. I wouldn't eat it. Don't eat dog shit." The Democrats would run over to that pile of steaming dog turds and start cramming it into their mouths and telling you how good it tastes.
It's funny because it's true, because that's the way they are.
That is the epitome, the example of Trump derangement syndrome. Okay? Don't eat that dog shit. Eat the dog shit.
that was a pretty good Trump impersonation there you done.
He did good, man. I don't know where that guy came from, but
I was talking about you, like.
Oh yeah, I've been watching Shane Gillis a lot lately. You know, on that stand up Hinchcliffe.
So guys, a lot of the memes we featured on the show tonight came from Planet of Memes on X. If you want to, let me see if I can pull that up here and post the link in the chat real quick. But if you want to find some of these, like anybody that follows my account and sees the memes I post, 90% of my memes, this is where I get them from, is Planet of Memes on X. 1 second. Let me pull it up here. There's the page. And copy, and I'm going to post this in our chat. So a lot of these memes I get are from Planet of Memes on X, and they've got some really good, hilarious memes, some videos. Check them out; they're awesome. But I like the meme I've got here on the right side of the screen. Trump saying, "Don't drink the piss," and then the woman drinking that bottle of yellow liquid, and it says "liberals." Drinking the piss. That kind of reminded me of that video that Parabellum had sent me there. So anyway, let's get back to I think Bev had some music.
She did. It's in your comments list. The name Sublime with Rome. Take it or leave.
It's in comments on
your StreamYard. Yep.
oh, private on StreamYard. Okay.
Yep.
There we go. All right. Let me bear with me 1 second here, and let me pull up YouTube. Actually, I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Before I start doing this, there's probably going to be some commercials, I'm assuming, in this being YouTube. That's what YouTube.
Oh yeah, we skip it out. That's okay.
So let's remove that, add that to stage. Let's share this tab. Search.
Sublime with Rome. There it is. Take it or leave it. Not the acoustic version.
Second one down. No, it's acoustic. So
go down. Go down.
That one?
Down one more.
That one?
Nope, down one more.
That
I
one?
think that's it. Yep.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Let me biggie size this mofo.
Oh yeah.
Biggie size it.
Oh yeah.
She's got enough for hurting me. Is it the word she says? The only thing that keeps me here are her eyes in the morning. Oh, I've packed my things 1,000 times. Oh, and I faked believe all her lies for the last time. The other day I drew myself a map so I could figure out your head. The cover strip with my sweet blur and tears, and she hated every thread.
Parabellum and X7 smoking a cigarette in real life after the show.
And I
Hey, hold on. Pause
believe all her
it
lies for the
that's not the right one. Let me show you.
I didn't
Hold
think
on.
it was. I was kind of wondering.
Nope, that's not it. Hold on 1 second. I got it for you. I'm gonna share screen, okay?
All right, go for it. Screen's yours, brother.
Can you see it?
Let me remove mine from stage and you can add yours. There you go. Now add yours.
Okay,
I
yeah,
think-
go ahead and remove your screen.
I did.
Okay, you got it.
Yep.
And I'm gonna add it to stage. Here we go.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. For the lady.
Biggie size that for me.
She's got a knack for hurting me. Is it the word she says? The only thing that keeps me here
I can make it.
I got it.
her eyes in the morning. Well, I've packed my things 1,000 times. Oh, and I faked believe all her lies for the last time. The other day I drew myself a map so I can figure out your head. The canvas stripped with my sweat, blood, and tears, and she hated every thread. Well, I've packed my things 1,000 times. Oh, and I faked believe all your lies for the last time. Take it or leave it, cause I'm really leaving. I purchased my ticket to New York first thing in the morning, kissing you good morning and whispering goodbye. Take it or leave it, cause I'm really leaving. I've made up my mind this time. There's no coming back for you. Oh, there's no coming back for you now. Told her no purse was more important than the knowledge in her head. She got her shit just like a baby. I couldn't believe the words she said. The only thing I ever see her read are those dim gossip magazines that feed her head with all that nonsense, yeah. Says she can fit in with the scene. Well, I've packed my things 1,000 times. Oh, and I faked believe all her lies for the last time. Take it or leave it, cause I'm really leaving. I purchased my ticket to New York first thing in the morning, kissing you good morning and whispering goodbye. And take it or leave it, cause I'm really leaving. I've made up my mind this time. There's no coming back for you. Oh, there's no coming back for you. Oh, and I always feel incomplete. She smothered herself with her own beauty. And she was born and raised daddy's princess. But her gesture is no match for Anna's. Your gesture is no match for others. As I try to love you, try to hold on to feeling that makes me fall for you. Oh, the feeling that makes me fall. Take it or leave it now. Take it or leave it, cause I'm really leaving. I've purchased my ticket to New York first thing in the morning. Kissing you good morning and whispering goodbye. Bye. As I try to love you, try to hold on to the feeling that makes me fall for you. And that makes me fall for you. Cheat out. Take it or leave it, as I'm really leaving. I purchased my ticket to New York first thing in the morning. Kissing you good morning and whispering goodbye. So I try to love you, try to hold on to the feeling that makes me fall for you. Oh, the feeling that makes me fall for you.
All right.
That was awesome. I liked it.
Yeah, that's something different, man. Uh-oh. Hold on. There's a little bit of a story behind that. I don't know, as far as music goes, this is all politics and stuff like that. So,
all right, well,
my lady Bev, as you know, Heck, she's a big rocker and loves 1980s classic rock, and I do too. I have my moments, but I'm more of a reggae guy, and I was a huge fan of Sublime.
That was definitely reggae.
Absolutely
I like
reggae.
Our band covered some Sublime.
Absolutely. I love a lot of Sublime. I Saw Red, Smoke Two Joints in the Morning. I mean, so many great songs came out. Bad Fish. So many great songs came out in the 90s if you got to live through those eras, and that was your deal, for grunge. But, sadly, Bradley Noel, the lead singer of that band, he passed away from overdose in a hotel room. And then many years went by. And what this is Sublime with Rome. If you can only imagine Nirvana with a new singer, and then they came back and they actually did halfway decent. That's what happened with Sublime with Rome. Okay. So there's a huge story with that. So the guy's name, the new lead singer, came to the band years later in Rome, and he actually does a lot of the old songs that Bradley Noel and Sublime used to sing. That was really huge in the 90s. They were on MTV. They had millions of views, super rich. A big old story goes with that. And for some reason, my lady Bev, being a rocker, she fell in love with Sublime with Rome. She's not so big on Sublime, but she likes this new rendition of it. And I thought that was pretty neat.
That's a really neat story.
Yeah.
I like it. Good to have some little background behind why Bev picked that song.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Sublime. So,
all right. So, I think this is probably going to bring us to the close of the show. You got any closing words, brother?
Why? Any closing words? Anything that you've seen tonight? Anything that I'd like you to take from this episode and the series that you've seen tonight is that please go back, watch some Lindy Lee videos, look at the AUTOPEN scandal. Look at what was going on within the Democratic National Committee. Fact check, research, go on with what's going on with James Comey, in his investigation in the House. What's going on with the Republicans and who they think it is that used the AUTOPEN. Look at all this information and make for it for yourself what you think it's going to be, and then follow the truth, Because when the Republican Party comes out and says this is without a doubt in the middle, and we're in the middle of an investigation, but when they come out and they say this is without a shadow of a doubt, this is who was using the AUTOPEN. Roll with that, ladies and gentlemen. You've had 16 out of 20 years that were democratically controlled. That's entirely too much time in a presidential seat of power to be able to brew manipulation within the presidency and within government. You're just now getting your second 4 years, of a Republican Party. There is a reason we have a two-party system. And the reason that we have a two-party system is so that when one party has power for entirely too long, another party needs to come in and take over. So we can root out all of the evil, because it's human nature that when one party controls for entirely too long, you're going to give in to the negative ambitions of your human biology. You will make mistakes. You will give in. And that's why the two-party system, the constitutional republic that we serve, works. So pay
Amen.
attention, ladies and gentlemen.
Well said. Well said, my friend. Well said. My closing words are going to be like, I was going on that big rant tonight. Wake up. Pay attention to what's going on, like Parabellum had said here. Pay attention to what's going on in the world. Pay attention to politics. Don't be so self-absorbed in social media content that's mindless bullshit. Don't fall for the bread and circus. Pay attention. Spend at least, if you can spend just a few minutes a day, just, you see something on the news. If you can spend just a few minutes a day, just looking into that, researching it. It's hard to find a lot of the facts on Google. I highly recommend X. I highly recommend you getting an account on there and following some of the people that I follow on X and Rumble. A lot of the shows I follow on Rumble. If anybody wants those, you feel free to message me. I'll send you links to all the shows I follow. I'll send you links to all the people I follow on X and where I pull a lot of my information from for the show. But wake up. Don't be so self-absorbed. Don't be so self-centered, and pay attention to what's going on in the world. Please, people, please join the fucking revolt.
Absolutely.
Wake up. But
it's time.
I'm Hex 7 and
Parabellum.
And we're going to say peace out. God bless. And where we go one, we go all. Good night. And see, we got 6 episodes under our belt, so we'll see you next Friday night at 8 o'clock.